Yeah, Avis was proud to be number 2.
All right. There we go. All right.
I think they were number 6 or something when they said that.
Avis,
they're like,
what, the rental car
yeah,
company?
you got to look up the marketing. It was insane. Because they're like, we're never going to beat Hertz, but we'll just tell everybody we're proud to be number 2. And then they were number 2.
Well, who works for number 2?
Yeah.
You know,
a lot more people that work
Avis
for number 1.
works for number 2.
Right?
That's it. Okay, so let me just start. You know, the last name Coolidge intrigues me
Okay.
so much, you know, because it's presidential.
Yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to go through and ask you
Okay.
throughout the podcast if you're
Yes.
related to any of these Coolidges
Okay.
that I'm going to bring up here.
All right.
And then you tell me later, because, well, never mind. We'll talk about it.
Okay. But I'll be ready. We
You'll
can
be
do drunk
ready
history
for it.
also.
We
can do both.
Yeah.
I am very related.
Oh, okay.
It'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Okay.
And I know a lot about it. This is
cool.
better. Sorry, I moved myself.
No. Well,
Are you okay? How's it going over there, Brian?
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I moved it just a little because I was.
you're good.
no, you're good. You're good.
I just want to make sure
He's just not lining it up.
some stuff's not already where it needs to be. Let me get the other camera turned on.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Well, you know, let's just start with the softball here.
Okay.
All right. The president, you know, this guy was the 30th president
Yes.
of the United States of America from 1923 to 1929. And that would be Calvin Coolidge, the president.
Yes.
Are you related to that Calvin Coolidge?
Was his name John or Calvin?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, I was. I was directly related. Yes.
You're
Yes,
related
very much.
to the president.
We share a
Calvin
common
Coolidge.
grandfather. He is in the Simon.
Yeah.
He is in the Simon branch, and I'm in the Nathaniel branch with
Okay.
other Coolidges that you know. And it's insane how related. And I went to the Calling All Cousins, which they did for the reenactment of the inauguration that happened at his house because Harding died and he was
right.
vice president. And
Okay.
he was nominated. His dad swore him into office. And when the newspaper asked, like, how did you know you could do that? He goes, I didn't. Like, he just did it because it was his son. He thought it was the right thing to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so
Right.
it was just
Right.
kind of funny, you know, but yeah, there's a lot of
So I
knowledge.
you know, I would assume that you're just like born, a newborn baby, and they're telling you you're related to Calvin Coolidge, basically.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Well, I asked a lot because I
okay.
had the great big book of questions.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice. Okay. He was nicknamed Silent Cal. Did you know that as well? You did know that. Okay.
Do you know why?
No. It doesn't
Okay.
say.
It was because he was the first media president. So he would not talk to the press because he knew that they would twist his words.
Wow.
And one of the most famous anecdotes was that one of the reporters was waiting in line at the White House and came in to meet with him and said, I bet everyone outside $50 that I could make you say more than 2 words. And he sat there and he goes, you lose. And it was like legit.
All
really
right.
happened.
Right. Right.
That's insane.
That is insane. Wow.
Do you know his tie to Kansas City?
No, I do not know his tie to Kansas City.
He is painted on the mural in the World War I museum because he dedicated the World War I museum.
Okay.
And there are some amazing pictures of all of the delegates. And he was the one that said the war to end all wars or whatever. and
Wow.
Things. That was it.
Dang.
That was in Kansas City.
This is like Kansas City Nights, the history lesson.
Right? It's wild.
Tonight.
There's just
That's
a lot.
what it is. That is a lot. So then the next one's Grace Coolidge's wife, the first lady.
Uh-huh.
You were related to her.
No.
By
Because she
marriage,
was, yeah,
I
through
guess.
marriage. Yes.
Through marriage.
Definitely through marriage.
Yeah. Okay. Anything about her you want to...
She loved animals, and they had almost like a zoo at the White House. And I'm not sure why.
All right.
But I'm pretty sure there was a raccoon, too.
Okay.
I think he gave it back. It's insane.
You know,
it's just random.
Back in the 20s, you could do that stuff. You could do that
you
shit.
could. I think you could. I mean, they did it in The Greatest Showman, and that was similar.
Oh, yeah. You're right. They did. Very good.
My family lore holds that I'm related to him somehow, but I don't.
Brian Rice, you're related to Calvin
He looks
Coolidge.
like one of the Grace Coolidge family members. He looks like he comes straight because the Coolidge side is a lot more English. less
the hair.
exotic looking. See, he always looks exotic. Have you ever noticed that about Brian?
Well, you know,
I mean, if you want to call it something, it's
okay,
exotic.
exotic.
Yeah, that's
part
it.
Filipino.
It's the Filipino,
Right.
With an F.
With who's Pino?
That's
you know,
fabulous. It gives you an exotic look.
on the
I'm part Native American. That's why I don't look like a
oh, you're
Coolidge.
part Native American.
Yes,
Me
an
too.
8th Cherokee.
Okay, I'm an 8th Wyandotte Indian.
Oh, well, then we have to fight.
Okay.
No. I'm
Well,
kidding. Did you
let's
know
go.
at Haskell, I heard that they have to be very careful with certain people being in things together. You know, you just have to be aware of it. Not like it's just some
Hey.
crazy, wacky thing, but
Yeah.
things can escalate
Things could- if you
a
get
little more.
You get the fire water around them too, and that'll fucking
yeah.
escalate the Indians as well.
Yes.
I think you and I probably both know that firsthand at some point.
Actually, it's the funniest thing because I'm wildly observant about myself, like my body or whatever. And I think it's from extreme boredom that most people that listen to this don't know what it's like to grow up in South Central Kansas
yeah.
in the summer
Youch.
with no air conditioning on a farm
Dang.
with like dogs, which is fun because you can learn how to sneak up on them, which is wild. You got to be really patient. But you know, the whole thing is just, you'd get bored. You would actually get so bored that you would feel the vibration of the earth. Like I would lay under a bridge to wait for a car to go over just to hear what it sounded like.
Wow.
You know, like
Gosh.
on a dirt road. Like you're
Yeah.
just bored out of your mind. And
You
so
were,
you
yeah.
learn. It's funny how you learn to be just kind of observant of things. And so through all of that, you know, comes all of that. And through the alcohol comment of the firewater, I always thought it was funny with the Native American side because I thought, you know, whiskey makes me insane.
Yeah.
Mad like I will fight anyone for fun and money. And it's like I all of a sudden like what was that? Robert Downey Jr. Remember he was in that the Sherlock Holmes, and he would think 3 steps ahead,
sure,
and he
right.
fought that
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, I remember that.
I thought I would do that. I was like, slow down time.
And you're like, okay, I'm gonna hit his ankle
Yeah,
here.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Boom.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I finally landed on tequila overall was the cleanest,
Okay.
easiest to drink.
Yeah,
and
sure.
made me more like the guy with the sombrero than the guy
Fair
with
enough.
the fire.
You know
in
what?
his
I'm
hand.
wearing my Harmar Superstar shirt. He's got a sombrero on as well.
We took my oldest daughter to Torreon for the first time.
Okay.
Torreon, the Mexican restaurant.
yeah.
It's so much
Right.
fun. And I used to go there with my dad, you know, way back. Like Unicorn Club days.
Ah, the Unicorn Club.
Oh, yes.
So, what city? I mean, it was near Wichita. What city did you grow up in?
Clearwater.
Clearwater. Was
Yeah.
the water clear?
It actually was,
Okay.
yes. And you
All
could
right.
see the train that was under the water where we would dive when the water got low enough. And we're like, wow, that's why they said
You'd look
don't
up
jump.
and see-
Yeah,
oh.
it's insane. The whole
Okay.
thing was, there's so many reasons I should be dead.
All right.
Just from
hey,
boredom and country living.
yeah, that'll do it right there.
my beer.
Okay. Yeah. Hey,
I
right.
jumped everything. We popped one guy out of a Corvair that we cut the roof off of.
Oh, geez.
Terrace jumping.
Oh,
We
no.
double bounced him.
Oh,
It
man.
was soft dirt, though. It had already been turned over.
So he survived.
Oh,
It was
he
okay.
didn't not only survive, he got back in.
All right. Was that red dirt down there, or was it close enough to Oklahoma?
It's
Yeah. Okay.
not that far, so it's real brown, and you
Okay.
can really, when you till it, it gets nice and loose. You could fall on it. hard,
Okay.
as long as you didn't hit a chute or something from some old,
Some old,
wheat
yeah.
or something.
Jesus Cripes. Who knows?
But I will tell you something. My dad and mom divorced when I was 2, so she moved down there when I was in 1st grade. So I went to kindergarten at Bonjour Elementary. And my dad always lived right off 87th Street in Flum. So my stepmom ran Maintamers at Flum and Shawnee Mission Parkway, which was the little hair place.
Okay.
So I used to go in there, and you know, now I know a lot about salons. That was funny. A whole lot of things about that. But I met all these guys from Shawnee Mission Northwest. Started hanging out with all them. So
Dang.
then that's how I got into the thing with the guys from the Northwest. And then I knew a lot of guys from West, just from, like Joe Gunderson and these people that are like, what? And yeah, it's crazy. So I have 2 lives. So I can.
I'm surprised we never ran into it. I'm an apartment kid, so I grew up in the Meadows apartments over off 75th and Covera.
Oh, yeah.
Near Trail Ridge Junior High there.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we never ran into each
I
other.
know.
Huh?
We may have.
Shoot, maybe.
I made.
We both had hair back
Yes,
then.
that
So.
makes it so much harder.
Right.
Right. Hair, no
Didn't
beards.
recognize. Yeah.
We're like a couple of good-looking quarterbacks that you just see our eyes.
Hey.
That's
okay.
what's happening to us.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I'll accept that. Silent Cal. Thank you so much. Silent Cal.
Nobody ever calls me silent.
No. I would hope not.
Yeah.
That'd be bad for Kansas City if you were silent. What about Rita Coolidge? Are you related to
Yes.
the
Yes. Your love is lifting me
go? Okay, tell me about that.
Well, she has a part of that Native American thing. Coolidge, I don't know the exact story, but basically he had a lot to do with the Native American Act, and a lot of Coolidges had adopted Native Americans. And so the bloodline out of the Northeast, actually, one of the closer ones of mine, she looks like Rita Coolidge. And Rita lends herself towards that. You got to kind of, it's funny to have a Native American look, because around here it doesn't look like anything different than anybody else. But I went to Spain one time, and this guy was like, "What are you?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "What are you?" We're all like betting what you are, and I'm like, "American." And he's like, "We know American,
right.
but like, what kind of American?" I'm like, "Kansas."
He's like, oh, that'll do
Dorothy.
it.
And they're like, no, but like, your people and whatever.
Your
and I
people.
go, Native American, and they're like, "Ah!" And they were
that's it.
drinking to it. And they're like,
Oh, hey.
because somebody guessed. And
Oh, nice.
but
Okay.
but I realized Native Americans don't really travel, from what I gather.
Yeah.
And so around here, it's normal.
Yeah.
But other places, I don't look like a European. So when I'm in Europe, people are like trying to.
Yeah. The more I look at you, you have a Native American look to you.
It's
I
a
can see
vibe.
it.
It's more, it's kind of a thing. And it's not, it didn't ever, I always just thought it was interesting. I can walk incredibly quietly, and I can ride horses. So,
And feel the train
yeah, I can do the vibration thing.
and the vibration thing as well. I mean, that's a big deal. Are you good, Brian Rice?
I think we're ready.
Yeah,
We're ready to do this.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
You want to turn Kurt's mic up just a tinge.
It's turned up a little bit.
So
Not yours, his.
Well, he's
I
won.
know, I'm
He's won.
kidding. I'm joking.
He's won.
you're always second.
Are we
Avis.
ready?
How
So
do you get the nickname Avis? Because he's always number 2.
Right. That's it.
recording.
We're recording?
We've been recording on audio the last 15 minutes while I was doing the
son
final.
of a.
That's what I like to do.
That's what you like to do.
So
Don't
we have
you?
lots of topics about Calvin Coolidge and how we're.
Hey, he's
Dude, you
related.
guys got to go up there to
He's not
Vermont
related.
and go to the Coolidge Plantation, or the Coolidge
Where's this?
Foundation. It's in Vermont,
Okay.
outside of Woodstock, by the ski resorts. But Coolidge State Park is there.
All right.
And it's like moose, like that kind of state park. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, near Mount Coolidge.
Yeah. And we found it by
Actually.
accident. My youngest daughter does 3-day eventing on horses. And so she had an event in Woodstock, and our Airbnb was right by this gas station. And I figured that the Coolidge Foundation was like not convenient, right? And I'm paying for coffee with my debit card, and the guy just looks at me and he goes, "Is this real?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Coolidge." I go, "Yeah, I got my ID or whatever." And he's like, "No, like, you're really a Coolidge?" I'm like, yeah, congratulations. And he's like, "It's 6 miles that way." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "It's right there." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So we went over, and I go in and I'm like, "Am I really, really related?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And then I get a call from the foundation people after
No
that. That's how we
shit.
learned all that.
Wow.
And then they're like, "Hey, we're doing a calling all cousins."
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
so that's how I learned all this stuff recently. I'll tell you the one last thing because this will get stupid, but I think this is amazing. Is whenever the oh shit, it's two things. Sorry, it's first one. Whenever the Native Americans went up to the boats and did the Boston Tea Party. Remember, they were actually calling us dressed as Native Americans. And we know the three of them were Coolidges because they had their covenants torn with the knife through it, saying no taxation without representation, all this stuff.
All right.
So those are Coolidges because Coolidges came over in 1627, John and Mary with one kid, right? It's wild. But everybody goes back to that. So then in the two-fact law here that I'll stop is whenever George Washington became the president, he went on a tour of all 13 colonies to basically say, woo, we did it. Kicked them out.
Way to go.
And he went to the oldest building in every colony, and he went to the Coolidge Tavern because it was over 100 years old when he went there.
Wow, already.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
I mean, just even the concept of it is.
Dang.
So yeah.
Like the fucking stitches of America.
Oh yeah, like
That's
endodontics
crazy.
and all like crazy stuff. Like, and it's everybody. This is what I would say. Everybody has it. It's just that being related to a president, you have a presidential library and you have a presidential historian.
Yeah, right.
And those people can. I'm just saying
They do their
They have
homework.
access.
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah.
and they know things.
So the Coolidge Tavern,
yes.
did they have a Bob Seger tribute band in there?
I think they did, and it was Paul Revere would always come in.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, you know, and he'd be like, "Oh, long and lonesome dirt road."
That's it. Oh, because he was fucking.
Yeah.
He's doing his run. Oh my God.
I mean, I assume he had a
Oh,
British
Lord.
accent. I don't
with
know if
that-
he really did or not. When
What
did
a
we lose the
mess.
British accent? I wonder
don't know.
that.
I don't
Did
know.
we intentionally lose the British accent?
There was
I
some
think
things I think we did on purpose to
Yeah.
distinct, like thou became you or something like that.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Something to we took out
the vowels.
We
Yeah.
took the you out of words like
You know.
color and you know.
Let me
The
get
E
a.
off theater. You're gonna get a.
What,
Oh,
we-
that
we-
beauty.
Yeah.
Hold on, we were about ready to start.
Sorry.
I was grabbing a last second beverage to.
Yeah.
All right. So here, Shannon, do you have a list of his? So I usually am the one that introduces the person, but then I forget everything about them.
Oh, and I do too. I was thinking.
There you
I
go.
wonder about that.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Totally pre-recorded from Bonner Springs, Kansas.
Kansas City now.
Oh, yeah, yo.
I'm Brian Rice,
I'm Shannon Gieber.
and tonight's guest is, I forget his name, something about a president. I forget.
I don't know.
No, distant relative. Distant relative.
It's distant. Oh yeah, he's been dead a long time.
Curt Coolidge, Kansas City musician extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you.
That's simple. We'll talk about all the bands that you're in,
All right.
and so let's just fade the music or the
Fade
crowd
the
out.
music, fade
The
our
crowd.
crowd out. We're already into it. Now.
We're 18 minutes into it.
18 minutes into
How
this.
do I sound to you guys? I feel like I'm distant.
sound great.
Okay.
Sound
You
Filipino,
sound close.
you know?
I think it's Filipinish.
Oh, it's a Filipinish.
That's like I'm
No,
Native
I'm pronouncing
American.
my F's and my, SH's.
European.
At some point, Brian Rice will end up with his shirt off at
Right.
some point
Oh,
in the
yes.
podcast. That's
Right.
what happens. So
Yes.
don't worry about it.
I edit them out every time. That's why
Right.
nobody's seen
Them?
it.
Yeah.
Why did you say them? It's a shirt. He said he'll take his shirt off. I edit them out.
Multiple.
All the other times
Multiple
I have my
times.
shirt off.
Lip
That's what I
liner
meant.
matches.
Oh, that's great. That's
So thanks for
really
joining
good.
us,
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
obviously we from the moment you walked in, and it's already been maybe you got here like 40 minutes ago. So we've already been knee deep in conversation. So now it's almost like, oh, where do we resume?
Right,
Where
yeah,
do we start?
Where do we start? By the way, let's shout out to Minsky's Pizza.
Minsky's
for feeding
Pizza?
us.
Yes, well,
So-
we paid for it and they fed
Yeah,
us, so it's
right.
not like they're
So
sponsored.
they're
No.
keeping up their end of the,
Yes.
the whole
Yes,
thing.
it's like
They're-
Ada's.
And tonight's unofficial whiskey is,
Oh, yeah.
Larceny?
Hey,
Oh yes,
love
also
that.
keeping up their end.
you know,
Yes, indeed.
and then so
Larceny, to just throw in another thing. Larceny reminds you of jail. And if you guys haven't done it, go to Jefferson City and do the ghost tours of the state penitentiary, because you check in at 11 p.m. And they
Really?
turn off the lights in the set, and you're in the, yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
All
So
right.
do it. Hey, you could take it on the road.
State Capitol.
Oh, there you go.
I was there last summer
Where are you?
on a job assignment.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
I was
right.
downtown, and the
Hawthorne Bank.
and the capital, the state capitol was really
Yeah.
nice. And yeah.
So are you into that then, the paranormal?
It's certainly fun. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my mom asked me when I went to it, and she's like, do you believe in all that stuff? And I said, well, have you ever ran up the stairs from the basement? Because in that moment, maybe now it's real. Like, I don't know, but the part of my body that says run is saying run.
Right.
And I don't know what that means or why that is. And maybe one day or whatever that I will truly know. But I'm saying that I've experienced reason to run.
Like,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, we've been knee deep in conversation, but we talked on the phone today, and I told you how I always like to start at the beginning. Like, what led you on the path to, because you're a musician, is bass the only instrument you play, or do you play?
No, I found my way to bass. I love it. Just like I always equate being a bass player or a guitarist to being a defender or a forward in soccer. Because if you're a defender, you can't let anybody between you and the goal. You just can't. You just can't. You'll just be running yourself to death, right? But if you're a midfielder, you kind of got a both thing going on. It's kind of a middle thing. I don't know if I'd call it a rhythm guitarist and a lead guitarist at the front, whatever. But my point is, I only know the bass, and I only know that I can't run out there and solo because it's stupid. Nobody likes a bass solo. I mean, it's fine. They're technically insane and fun. And I went to see Victor Wooten, and I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
but you know, all of that. So the point, I suppose, is I always loved saxophone, and I always loved Yaxity sax. Remember that?
right.
So when I was a kid,
yeah. Benny
and
Hill.
so
Right there.
Oh,
I got a Boots Randolph. My grandma had a Boots Randolph record, and to get you know, like, let the kid go play, I'd go in the basement where they had pool table and all that stuff, and I'd put on the Boots Randolph stuff, and I'd try to sing the tenor parts, and I'd make saxophones out of Legos. And so I wanted to do saxophone, but my mom said, no, you have to do piano first because it's black and white. That's only in theory, and we have a piano.
Good
and
idea.
whatever. So I
Solid.
did that. And then got into saxophone in 5th grade, and then wanted to be in the jazz band. And my teacher was like, look, you are not going to be in the high school jazz band because there are 3 seniors
Yeah.
and a couple of juniors and sophomores that are better than you, and this is not happening. But Chad's moving, and the bass is open. So if you want to take it home for the summer, you can play bass. And I was like, well, I want to be in the jazz band, and there's no bass player.
Yeah.
I know how to read music, so there we are. And then very quickly, I was like, wait a minute. So I can sing while I'm doing this?
Yeah,
You know, and I can
right.
be in like bands like that aren't Huey Lewis bands or whatever.
so when did you discover that you can sing?
I've always sang. The earliest I really remember, is my grandpa would take me around Lake of the Ozarks when I was really little, and he would stand me on the bar, and he'd bet the people a pitcher of beer if I could sing all of Rhinestone Cowboy. As of course
One of my
I could.
favorites, Glenn Campbell.
Well,
And if it was about halfway through the second verse, he got his pitcher of beer. I got a bunch of change and free Frogger. Right?
Okay,
So
right, yeah.
that was the beginning. And then I do remember in 2nd grade, somehow I talked my music teacher into letting me sing a solo during choir, and I would sing Rhinestone Cowboy for the people. And this is like Derby, Kansas. Like, this is like
Yeah.
not a
Hey.
small school. It's like a
Right.
6A school.
Yep, sure.
And
Sure,
I'm just
Derby.
up there, a little 2nd grader, I've been walking these streets so long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why aren't you clapping?
Singing that same old song.
I know every crack,
Dirty,
sidewalks,
dirty
bro.
fucking sidewalks, man. Yeah.
So, so it was just always in me. And then my stepbrothers were 10 years older than me. And so my first concert was Ozzy and, you know, Black Sabbath. And,
Yeah.
and I listened to all of that and I would stare at the album covers. But my mom was the vice president of marketing for the Kidney Foundation. So all of the chiefs used to do the floats, the Kidney Foundation floats, and all of these things. So Max Floyd and them were friends with my mom, and I got to know, like, I was just a kid, but KY was a big deal.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
it was huge. So I would sleep to just KY 102 all night, every night, you know, and so it's like Rocket Man and all these songs just remind me of sleeping. Like, it's the weirdest thing, you know, so I could get like super chill. But through it all, I just thought that everybody chose how they wanted to sing. And I chose that I wanted to sound like Lou Gramm and John Waite, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
And so that was my thing. And then I somehow found Bad Company in the middle of it but I was like, I would have been 7 or 8, right? And I'm like, I've been singing for money for Rhinestone Cowboy and we're Taco Tico and Boy Needs a Sancho. And I'd be like, well, you know, like, I mean, I'd throw down anything. So
That'd be Lou Gramm, by the way.
I realized that I wanted to be a bass player because I lived in a farm town and the choir teacher said I couldn't be in the choir because my voice was too raspy. And
Oh,
so
gosh.
I played bass because bass was fun and at least I could sing in a band. And then I got into the math and the craziness of jazz and the interesting thing. And I got in the Mid Kansas Jazz Ensemble. So I was I played string and electric for junior and senior year. Now, the reason I bring this up is because a couple of people have actually gone on to things. Gooding, which was a friend of mine, he used my bass on his first Safety Orange album when he was 15. Dude's insane guitar player. But he was from Wichita and moved. He never came around Kansas City. But then also Tim Orengreff, who is one of the most insane saxophone players I've ever known in my life. And I would yell out a key or whatever, and he'd play Yaxie sax that key just to piss me off.
Oh, wow.
Because he knew that I used to play sax. But he is Tim Izzo from the Black Eyed Peas. So
Gosh.
there's like all of these fun things, and I've gotten to hang out with him since he got big, and he has told me some fun stories about like not having money in the account and then like wanting to buy a refrigerator and then calling his accountant and saying, how much do we have in savings? And they're like, oh, the first check came.
Oh, you're
And
just
he's
in
like,
time.
wait a minute, what do you mean? And he goes, well, it's just the first one, and they're sorry that it's so small. There'll be more. And he said it had a couple commas in it. And that was just sort of the end of
You get the top of
that.
the line fridge.
And he's insane instrumentalist, and he's been on the
Gosh.
Grammys and played Wembley. And so
Yeah.
these are my buddies from school, and I was just faking it, you know? And I think what I learned was I was just present in the moment, and I was just trying to hang on. And somehow when you do that and you let the drummer be you're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I always say that
Right.
the bass player is it's what color you paint the canvas. So if you're going to make a painting and you decide, is it going to be nighttime? Is it going to be dawn? Is it going to be early morning? So is it a country song? Is it a rock song? Like, what is
Right.
it?
Right.
And so then you're like, now I got this sky. Okay, well, the drums are now trees and structure and these other things. And then you have these nouns and verbs, other things you're doing in the picture. But if you change the color of the sky, it changes the way everything looks, right? So I realized early on, because I learned that my bass tone, funny enough, came from it's really looking back on all of it. It's, why did I just blank his name? Leland Sklar. Leland Sklar was in the Immediate Family documentary, if you ever look at it. But he was James Taylor's bass player and all of that. And that group of guys, they played all of the Jackson Browne stuff and all of the early Hall & Oates stuff and all that. And I realized that, I used to always think of Dobie Gray's sound like that, boom, boom. Just that was like, that's what a bass sounds like. But I realized over time it was really more of the Leland thing that he was doing. And if you ever want to hear every bass riff in the world, listen to, Stay With Me by The Faces, because that bass player does like all the trick licks from the time. But Sorry, but I guess you want to hear about
No.
bass a little. So
No,
I thought
hey,
I wanted
we
to
love
be
Hey,
a
this is-
session bass player.
This is Kansas City Night.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a session bass player. I wanted to be the best in the world.
Ah, okay.
And so
All
I'm
right.
like, I'm going to be the greatest. And so I researched all the schools. I got accepted to Pepperdine. I was going to
I know
looking at
Pepperdine.
University of Miami. Like I was like all over this. And I talked to my mom, and she's like, "You can go wherever you think you want to go." And I'm like, But what about the money, Mom? Like,
Yeah,
because you're a
right.
kid,
Yeah,
you just think
sure.
that's how it goes. And my sister was going to Johnson County Community College, and so she's like, "No, it's fine. I think that's fabulous." And I was like, "So there's no money." Oh, so I'll try to get a scholarship at UMKC, right? So I call, and they're like, "Well, you're a little late, but I know you are, so we'll let you in." You know, because I got the coolest gig in my life. Well, not it still, but I got to play with Branford Marsalis a bunch.
Oh,
Senior year.
okay.
Senior year of high school, I was
Wow.
in the Mid America Jazz Ensemble.
Okay.
So one of my favorite bass stories of all time is this guy Josh is the bass player, and Josh is real good. Josh is embarrassingly good, right? Like to where my faking it just becomes like, no, I'm making artistic choices. Like because I'm like, wow, this guy is smoking me so bad. And so he was doing the stuff, and anyway, I was just playing the electric because I'm like, well, you play the upright then, you super stud, you know, whatever. And so then Branford's in town, and I'm like, who? You know, because I'm an idiot from Clearwater, and not because people, you know, I just didn't have access.
I mean,
It was a long time
he
ago.
was just new. He's just
Yeah, and this
kinda
was
on the
after
scene.
Sting. This is post Sting. This
Okay.
is in 1980. No, it would have been 1990. In May, he played the Riverfest, and so we had, I think, 12 shows with him, where we played high schools and stuff. I had to like ask off for school or something. They're
Wow.
like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Branford's here." You know, it was
like, "Oh, well,
yeah."
okay.
So, but what happened was. On the big night of the Riverfest, they had like 30,000 in attendance or something, or some stupid number. And then it was broadcast, but I didn't really care because I was just playing jazz with these guys like Kenny Clarkland and stuff. Like, it's like, what? And I don't know. I just was living it at the time. And so he wanted me to play upright on a song. And I'm like, I don't like you anymore because that sucks for me because there's no frets on there. Like, I just, oh man, you know, and so it was in C minor. So I just hold on to the C and I just stay on the C and I start doing rhythmic patterns on the C. And it's in minor. So every once in a while, I like tease a little flat three, just playing around. And then, but I didn't want to leave home base. Like, I was going to, everything I could touch had to be within home base. Well, then it worked. And like Branford, like, told everybody to shut up except the hi-hat, and then me, he's like, keep going, and then he started going out, and then he's like pointing at Kenny, and then he takes this crazy solo, and later on that night he said, I'm so glad you did that. I kind of thought you'd do that. And I go, thought I'd do what? And he goes, well, the other guy can play everything, and he'd play all kinds of cool stuff, but I knew that you wouldn't leave home base. And
You got to guard the goal. You're
And I
like the
said-
defender,
and
right?
I said, is that a bad thing? He goes, no, that's the best thing. He goes, the best thing is you let me go that far out because I knew where you were going to be.
Nice.
But
Very good.
it's sort of something that I always remembered. So I never really learned a lot of music store licks, not just because I don't know. It wasn't the kind of player I was. I was more music reading and, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I went to, I'll tell you the end of that is I went to UMKC, got accepted for a scholarship. I'm like, this is awesome, but it only pays for half of school and I still ain't got no cash and I'm driving a, you know, big Pontiac. You know, so it's like, okay. So I just go to Johnson County Community College because I remember my sister went there.
Cavaliers.
Cavaliers. You're a Cavalier.
I'm a Cavalier as well.
All three of us
We
are
are
Cavaliers.
Cavaliers.
We're all Cavaliers.
Yes, we
here.
are. We need to get merch. Yeah, put our name on merch.
They tried to change the name
What?
to Bison at one point, and I think they
What?
just changed their mind.
That's-
Yeah, Cavaliers are, I mean, whatever. It's
Right.
cool. Bison growl. It's trippy. You got to look it up. But so, anyway, so I'm UMKC. It's all whatever. And then I'm like, I still got no money. So I just walk into Johnson County Community College. I start wandering around looking at signs. And so I see a sign for music in the GEB building or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
go, and it's got the double doors. I'm like, wow, that's very palatial, you know. And I walk in, and Jim's and they're just doing
Jim
something,
Smith.
jamming on his piano.
He had the red hair.
Yeah, and I said, hi, and he's like, hey. I go, so I don't have anywhere to go to school, but I got a scholarship to UMKC, and I was accepted at University of Miami in Pepperdine, and I don't have any money, but I do play bass. Do you need a bass player? And he literally, that's what I said. He goes, are you serious right now? And I go, yeah, I don't know. I should probably go to college. And my sister went here, and I just didn't know if you guys had a good music program. He's like, wait a minute. And he goes to the closet, and he pulls out an upright bass, and he hands me the bass. He goes, what do you want to play? I go, all blues. And he goes, are you kidding me? And I'm like, boom, 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 you know, I start playing. And he's like, you can actually play the bass. He gives me a bow. And I go, no, I play a French bow. He's like, oh my God, you know it's a French bow. He's like, I have scholarship money. I go, what do you mean? He said, you said you don't have money. And I said, I don't have money. He goes, I have a full ride scholarship I can give you. I just don't have any musicians. I'm like, what? He goes, what are you doing right now? You have to enroll. And I go, where do I go? And he goes, come on. And he just takes me down the hall to the dean, and he goes, this guy, I want this guy. And he's like, this guy. And he's like, yes, this guy. And so there I am. And
That
so
sounds like a Hollywood story, right?
Right. It's just random. You just, what you expect just appears, you know? So then I became a student ambassador.
Hey, there you go.
I still have the cardigan.
Cavalier student ambassador.
Yeah, I was.
Real quick, Jim Smith was a great guy.
He's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
It's fantastic.
Oh, no.
I played in the band at JUCO.
There you go.
I played baritone. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to woo your
No, you're good. You didn't mess with it. Hey, let's go back real quick. You talked about when you were a kid and you wanted to be in choir, and the choir teacher said you had a raspy voice. And I mean, you have a raspy voice. It's obvious. Yes. How did that? I mean, did you just were born with the raspy voice?
So apparently, from everyone I've talked to, you're born with it, right?
Okay.
You can't do it without hurting yourself. But there was a really intriguing thing happened in my life 2 years ago about this, because I went to an ENT why? Because I had a hernia surgery, so my deductible was met.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I go around to the different things that I think are cool. I'm like, let's go to the ENT. Let's see what's down the throat. Never hurts. So he's like, can I bet you what's going on? And I'm like, well, let me tell you first that I'm the lead singer of an AC/DC tribute band, and I'm the Brian Johnson. He goes, okay, I'm going to double down. I'm like, yes, I'm sure it is. I just wonder how bad the damage is. Should I stop? Where am I at? You know, just just tell me what to do. And he looks, and then he sits there, and he's like, okay. And he shows me the video, and I'm like, what? And he goes, do you have heartburn? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, okay. But like now, and I said, yeah, I kind of always have a little bit of heartburn. I mean, people have heartburn. He's like, no, they don't. And I was like, what do you mean, no, they don't? He goes, do you take heartburn medicine? I go, well, yeah, all the time, like every day probably, but not like a prescription. He goes, oh. He goes, well, here's what I saw. You have chronic damage to the part of where your vocal cords come together. There's a little bump. I don't know. It's whatever. It's just the A pillar. If it was a car, I suppose. Maybe a B pillar. So that little thing got swollen because of the acid touches it. But he said that every time the acid touches it, it would really be like putting your finger on the burner of a stove. That's how hot it really is. You just don't have any nerves there. So it just kind of hurts. So he said that what it does is it gets swollen, but it never heals because you keep doing it. So it's just swollen. Now, with that said, my whole life, it's just been swollen. So I learned to be lazy. So if I want to get really lazy, I can just get really lazy. My voice gets really like this because I just let go. But I had to learn how to let go because I had to, and he said I had perfect vocal cords. He's like, you have no damage. They're like a baby. He's like, I don't even know how you did this. And he goes, and so I said, well, what do you think I did? And he said, well, the only thing I can imagine is that you loosen your vocal cords so much to move around the bump to make the tight thing that you worked the muscles that most people wouldn't work, that gives you the ability to do that. So now it's been 2 years that I don't have that. So now all of a sudden I can sing clean when I sing high if I don't act lazy. But I'm not that good. I'm still just basically a little bit dirty, but it's like, that's fine. I like that.
Gosh. Okay. Interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
Should have read the notes.
Hey, oh, shit. Where are those at? Wait,
No, I'm kidding.
wait.
I should have read the notes.
No, you're good.
That's
You're
what we
good.
do.
That is what we do. What about Jennifer Coolidge? Are you related to Jennifer
Yes,
Coolidge?
I'm most directly related to
How?
Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh my God!
Because Nathaniel, so it's Calvin
talking
and
about
I
the
go
actress.
back. Yes.
So yeah, you heard us earlier before we started filming talking about all the Coolidges that Curt was related to. Jennifer Coolidge, if you remember Stifler's mom from American Pie,
Oh my God!
this is who
Yes.
we're talking
you
about.
look like the 4th of July.
Jennifer
You
Coolidge.
know, you're not very nice and you're not very pretty. I'm so glad we had this talk. This is my aunt.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, so you see it
Uh-huh.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
She looks like her. Yeah,
And he looks like she could be her cousin.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the same line. It comes from the Nathaniel brother. They went to Canada. They came down to Wisconsin. So I'm a Wisconsin cheese.
Okay,
And
all
so
right.
all the guys from Shawnee out there, shout out to the Shawnee Cheese Mart. That was my grandpa used to own that.
over in Shawnee,
Oh, my
Shawnee,
entire
Kansas.
family's buried with Amos family. Yeah, my
Oh,
grandpa was
yeah.
yard master at Santa Fe, sitting in the tower from 11 p.m. to 7
gosh.
a.m.
Hey.
Asshole John was my
That's
grandpa.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm old Shawnee royalty. So I hang out with
You are.
Bruce at Aztec because he used to
Oh, yeah.
run with my mom
Hey.
in the little group of 15.
That'd be Bruce Young.
Yeah.
At the Aztec.
Oh,
So
Theater.
you ask him, he's my mom and him were in the same. You know when you're like in a group of people,
Yeah.
and you're in high school. Mm-hmm. It's all through school. He was in like that group of people. They were never really clicked as together, but they were always in the group of people.
Right.
And I remember her 30th anniversary. Or not anniversary, what am I saying? Her 30th high school reunion. And he came over to the house. And I swear I remember, because I remember certain things when I was a kid. And I remember these like 8 drunk ass people coming in like, "Man, Maddie, oh, man, John, man," just talking to the grandparents, and there I am at the house. And I'm old enough to see what's going on, right? And I remember this guy, Bruce. And only Bruce looks like Bruce.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, only Bruce looks like Bruce. And I'm like, that was you, man. And he's like, yeah, I remember going to see Betty that night. I'm like, there it is.
That's great.
anyway, yeah.
That's great. Okay. All right. So I don't even know if I need to name any more people.
So yes, what is your?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to be related
Do you have
to
a?
them.
Do you know specific like delineate like how? What is your direct relation like? First
Yes.
cousin, once removed, twice removed, second cousin.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah, it seems like he
Yes.
would. You
It's,
should.
but it's what it is. I'll make it easier than that because it was really funny. One of the guys at this calling all cousins thing said, what does the twice removed mean? And the guy that's also a Coolidge goes, well, I've been removed twice from a bar. And, because they're all, like me, and they
I
were
know
laughing
exactly what
about
it is.
giving. Yeah. So, but basically we share a common grandfather. And it was the grandfather in 1627. He had a son named Simon and a son named Nathaniel.
And
He's in Simon's line, and I'm in Nathaniel's line.
But-
And Jennifer Coolidge is
But the
Nathaniel's.
degrees is how many
One.
generations separate are you and the individual in question?
So, I think I'm a 8x1. 8 times, but it's 8 times back. We share a grandfather, but 1 time removed. I'm like straight line with him. So it's weird. I'm not his grandkid and any of that. You know what? Hey, calling all listeners, you know what you need to know? Last thing you should know about the Coolidge Foundation. There is a Coolidge Scholarship. They give it away every year. And I did not know this, and I'm a moron because it is a full ride scholarship to any college you are accepted to in the
Golly.
United States,
Right.
including Ivy League. They give away as many as they feel like. And it's every year. And you have to write your first essay before you're 16. But you just go apply for it.
I'll be a son of a gun.
And it is stupid. I met some of the kids, and this girl's like, yeah, I went to Harvard. And I'm like, what?
Is this in the cousin roundup that you met
Yeah.
this? Oh, my
yeah, it's
gosh.
insane.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, we pour here in the middle.
You could
And we're rich over there. Oh.
you could have went to Pepperdine. then.
Oh my God, I'd be dead.
You know
I
what?
promise you.
Yeah,
If I did not
right.
meet Kristen when I was 20 years old at JUCO, I would be dead.
Well,
We had our 32nd.
Kristen being your lovely wife.
Yes,
It's fantastic.
32nd anniversary was
Hey, nice.
on the 19th. of February.
Congratulations.
And so 32 years. So you married when you were in your early 20s.
Yeah, she turned 22 on the cruise.
Wow.
And you just knew that
Yeah,
was
well,
it.
I mean, if you met my wife, you know,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
Everybody who can't like chat in is saying like, "Yo, get this coverage." Yeah, it's insane.
Maybe we should have had this live. Sounds like we had a lot of listeners or something.
Yes.
That would have been
We're
weird.
not live. Well, I'll just keep pretending.
No. Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
pretending. We'll still go.
Hey, that sounds good,
Nice.
man. Nice. Very nice.
You know the secret.
It's that nodule on your
Yeah.
vocal cords.
Yeah.
That's what the secret is. Now,
My nibby nub.
yeah, okay. The third nipple.
Yeah. Brian didn't say 3. He said 2.
Oh gosh, this
Yes.
this has gone crazy.
So
Off the rails.
one of the questions that was on the list that you had written here was what keeps you in Kansas City instead of chasing it. It sounds like we figured it out, Kristen.
Yes,
You know,
but it actually happened. We had put the down payment down on a house, an apartment in Irvine, California. We were moving out there. We had both been dental assistants and all these things, and it was just kind of well, not then, I guess. I just flashed. It's hard when you're old, but here we are. So let me black this up. So when I back it up, we were looking at it, and we said, okay, we're going to move to LA. You're going to get a job doing whatever, and I'm going to play in bands. And she likes to go to bars and hang out, so it worked out. And so we rented a place, all that, and then found out that she was pregnant with Jaden. So it was like, well, we can't do all that, and we can't move, and we can't, there's just all these things. And so, yeah, so we weren't moving anymore and all that. And I'd mixed the timelines of all of it up, but basically, Kansas City, I was the global director of the beauty and salon industry for Muzak.
Okay.
Yes, that meant I did the Aveda salons and the Paul Mitchell salons.
Oh,
I used to do the
wow.
I used to do the sound systems and the music. But people don't realize that the music hasn't always been. I mean, it was free and stuff, but it had cuss words in it. It didn't flow right. The mix was wrong. There's all sorts of things. So Muzak was really the way to get around that. And so I became the beauty and salon guy. So I would go around the United States, and like I'd go to Beverly Hills, and I'm teaching somebody there how to work with the Aveda salons and how to sell these certain things. And we go into these salons, and the guys are like, "Who in the hell is from Kansas?" And I'm like, "That'd be me, sir." And I had these giant chops that went down right before
wow.
3,000 miles to Graceland. I actually cut
Jesus.
them off when 3,000 miles to Graceland happened
Okay.
because I didn't want people to think that I really liked Kevin Costner that much.
Right.
Which I do enjoy a good Kevin Costner movie. And if you look at where I grew up, it looked like the Dancing with Wolves. I mean, that's just
Okay.
that's my
All right.
life. So yeah.
Fair, okay.
I know, right? Every road. It's like the book One by Richard Bach, right?
Right. I don't know that.
So
I don't know that one.
Muzak, can you enlighten me, but also everybody, as to what Muzak? That's the music you
Like
hear.
if you back in the day when you would go to the Gap, or you would go to Abercrombie, okay? They had two different kinds of music. And so at Muzak, you would sit down with the audio architect, Alvin Collis, one of the coolest people on earth. And they threw him a sweater and said, "What does the sweater sound like?"
Hey. Okay.
Right? And then you have to do it. So what I would do with salons is I would say, "Okay, close your eyes." Now, I don't know if you did or not because mine are closed, but it's okay. No, I'm kidding. Don't close your eyes. But I had this thing, and I would say, when you were imagining building your salon, you would imagine walking through it when they put the walls up before the sheetrock. You'd walk through it and you would visualize what's the bowl's going to look like. Are we going to do that dark green like they said? Or should we just go with black so it goes with everything? Like you're doing all of that stupid stuff. And I go, so stop. What does it sound like? What does it sound like? Does it sound like like a living room, or does it sound like a concert hall? Does it, because that'll change what you do on the walls.
Especially on
the
Rodeo
ceiling.
Drive. What's that sound like?
Well, and one of my best favorite accounts was Dillard's, the Ishan Salon and Spas. Over 110 locations, the first chain salon in a mall, because Carl Ederer, the guy from Switzerland came in and sat in the hallway waiting for Paul Mitchell to come in to his room. And at 3:45 in the morning, Carl said, okay, 1 minute. And then that was it. And so then he became, 110 salons and all the Dillards and then all those. And so the music, the Gap sounded like the good girl and the good boy. There was no guitar as a lead in anything Gap. The guitar was never the lead. The Abercrombie was the bad girl and the bad boy, and every song had a guitar or other phallic music in it. And something super cool that nobody knows. I worked for a speaker manufacturer in Park City, Utah during the Olympics. Super fun. But you have to decouple the subwoofers from the ceiling in a mall and then port them down into the building to dump them out into the vents so that you can make the Abercrombie sound like that and not hit the decibel level of the next door. And you'd use the smaller rooms because you could dump a lower bass and you could give a simulated deal and you'd hit the close so the close would absorb it.
No idea that was involved.
That's a lot right
It's
there.
insane.
Dang.
Dude, I did some crazy stuff.
And it's all originals, like stock, like was it
No. It was all every kind of music you could imagine.
like a real like actual looks like
you know when you went on like Dish Network and stuff, that was all Muzak.
yeah okay
That was Muzak was the biggest library. K-Tel Records.
Hey,
Remember K-Tel Records?
sure.
All of their music came from the Muzak libraries.
Okay.
And I met Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper told me that there's a funny thing about it. He said he only got 3 songs on Muzak, and that's how he knew if he was famous or not. Whenever that band would sit down and do it. And it was so funny.
I'm trying to think what 3 songs he would have been.
School's Out, 18.
Okay,
and
just
No More
those. So they
Mr.
just
Nice.
reproduced
Not
in a
Wheels.
Muzak way. Okay.
Yeah, but right.
All right. So. Oh, that's it. Wow. Dang. Oh, it's We're into Boogie Nights. This sounds like Boogie Nights segment right here. That's what this sounds like. It is Boogie Nights, right? Isn't that one
Yes,
of the bands you're in?
I was in Boogie
You were in Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. So Boogie Nights was really interesting. I was Tony Finger, who's got several bands around town. Brett Boulay was in Petty Theft, right? Which, funny enough, we got sued with a cease and desist. Remember when we beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl? That week after that, when everyone was bored in San Francisco, they realized there was a petty theft registered in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so then we had a cease and desist, and the name got changed to Petty Thieves.
Petty Thieves, yeah.
Isn't that funny? But it was really funny that it was that week.
Hey, they were butthurt.
Right.
man.
And so Brett and Kelly are staying with us because they're getting their floors done in their house, right? So they're over at our house. We're having a dog party to beat none other with Aiden and all those guys are going crazy. And so we're having a great time. And one night, Brett's probably making coffee because it's like 11 p.m. and he needs to sleep. So he's standing there and he's like, would you want to be the Bob Seger in a Seger tribute? I go, what? And he goes, well, you're doing that AC/DC tribute. He's like, would you ever do Bob Seger? I was like, dude, nothing sounds like shag carpet and candle parties like Bob Seger.
Yeah.
It paints you a picture that you cannot unsee.
Right.
Right. It is not, it is crazy. It's a very specific picture too. And I think there's paneling in it. I do. I honestly do. It could be a wainscoty kind of paneling, but it's something. It's in there. It's on a wall. Maybe an accent wall.
It's on a wall.
It certainly is. Yeah,
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
And a TV tray. But anyway, so so I was like, oh my God, yes. Well, the guys in the band, Steve Paddock, piano player. Steve Paddock was in Billy Door's band with me. And then Steve Paddock took me from Billy Doors into KCGT, and he was in KCGT with me, right? Yeah. So Steve's the keyboard player of Petty Theft. And then you got Brett, who I know, right? And John Reike, who I've always known. And Pat Thomas is the guitar player who'd been in the Phil Collins Experience with me, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he knew. So none of them know. So I come downstairs, and they told him his friend Robert, or whatever. Like Brett's like, oh, it's my friend Robert. They're like, we know everybody who could do this. Who could it possibly be? And so I walk downstairs and Steve Paddock's like, are you serious? And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. He goes, you could probably learn how to do it. Like, I mean, I think, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do this? And so Tony's like, who is this guy? Who's this fucking guy? Because Tony's from Philly. And it's really funny because, Yeah. Take the scepter to the Wawa, get some more ice. You know, so anyway, Tony realizes that night that I could probably sing this stuff, and it looks like I'm professional enough to learn it, and I'm not going to wake up dead from a heroin overdose. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So I became the Bob Seger, and then very shortly thereafter, he's like, "Hey, you want to be the guy singer?" In this is right as the COVID is sort of it's in 2020.
Okay, all right.
He's like, "Would you like to be the singer in disco band?" And I was like, "No." And it really wasn't because I don't like disco, because I grew up on disco. My mom was disco, right? Okay. And my stepdad was program director of a radio station and like disco. So anyway, it wasn't a good time. I was like, And so then he was persistent, and I was like, no. So I'd get more, it was like, I'm really not interested. And then Delinea Janelle walks by. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, I didn't tell you that Dee's the singer. I'm like, okay,
right.
Dee's really good. And John's the bass player, and Ed's the, it was the guy at the time. Yeah. Guitar player. No, it's Pat. Sorry, Ed's second. But Pat Thomas was the guitar player from the Petty Thieves, right? So sorry to make it long, but
No, no, you're good. That's okay.
As it happened, Don Desmond was going to be the guitar singer. Or I believe that's who it was. And through COVID, there were no gigs, right? And Tony wanted to practice. I don't know. I don't even know the story at all. But apparently, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze for what he was doing. It was Ed was the first guy. Anyway, bottom line was he got a guitar player, but he didn't have a singer. So he needed a backup singer. It was definitely.
Maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Forget it.
I'm blending the bands
it
together.
was
and I'm
COVID
blending
years.
the sounds.
We'll just edit this part out.
Yes. Edit this part out. Thank you.
Right.
But so
We'll do the fast forward.
right. So the story was, I said I'll be the backup singer guy. And I learned that my role was really to try to dance like Delinea and sing backups.
Yeah.
And have her teach you how to be a backup singer, and then sing lead on the guy songs, and stay back because it's Dee's show, because it's D.
Right.
If you don't know D, oh my God.
Yeah.
So let her do the thing, and stay out of the way. And so I started wearing a disco ball hat, and basically I was the funny guy who would try to dance like her, which made everybody feel good about dancing.
Okay.
Right.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. And so that was fun. But Tony and I were always like, there's got to be a guy. There's got to be a guy who loves this, who is this, who truly is a tenor and not a baritone, who happens to be able to sing high like David Lee Roth or something, right? But, somebody who actually talks up here and, you're talking to him and you're like, oh, wow, you're a tenor. And it's like, yeah, that guy. And so we were looking and waiting, and then Cardon is one of the backup singers in Dee's band. And all of a sudden, Cardon was like, back me up because there was a gig I couldn't do. And he's like, hey, if you can't do a gig, I go, yes. The answer is yes. I go, Tony, it's D. The band is D. And these guys are great. I mean, John's awesome and Ed's awesome. It's not that, but it's like, you gotta say, I can be replaced. You can sub me out.
Right.
Right. I'm not the star. People don't come to see Curt. It's like, oh, Curt's there too. And, he was very big on that and kind of saw it right off the bat. So then he's like, dude, Cardon's really good. And I'm like, that's cool. So then we had like a big gig up at St. Joe Casino, and he's like, Cardon's really doing that.
Yeah.
And then on another song, Dee'd be like, on this song, Cardon did this. And I'm like, hold up. Does Cardon actually like sing this song? And she's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, well, she didn't ask me to sing that song. And I know why. Trust me, I know why. But it was like, he's our guy. And I told Tony, I was like, does he want to do a run of like 3 shows? And he's like, yeah. And I said, perfect. So then now they got that, and they got the Shining Star tribute, which is a tribute. And that is insane because Cardon sings so high.
Yeah.
He's so good. And so it's perfect now. So I'm his backup.
Wait, is this gentleman, was he also in Accidental Moguls. Is that
Yes,
him?
that's Cardon.
Now I'm facing. Now I'm
Yeah.
visualizing who this
So
individual
that's who
is.
it was. So he walked in, and then his wife can sing like a bird, and so she's back there playing keyboards and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna step out because you do not need, the little monkey jumping out of the show anymore because it's you guys got it. So
Right,
I'll do
right.
every once in a while they'll have a gig or something where I'll like help with production and sound and kind of.
Yeah, you're part of the family
like
still.
sing
Yeah.
a couple songs or whatever, because we do
Sure.
we blend good times with the old ones. So I'm like, I'm the CASNOV, and the rest is FLY. But I did have to change it and say, because I'm 5'8", won't hesitate, and I'm dressed to a D, because I'm really only 5'8". So
You got
I
to
felt
start
really
somewhere.
bad about saying the wrong height. I don't know why it bothered me, but I was like, you can't lie about that.
No, you can't. Somebody will
just
call you
gotta
out.
own it.
on
I always wanted to be 5'9".
Somebody call you out on it. It's just like telling a girl you're 47 years old.
Right. It happens. You know what I did do? I will tell you this. We moved in to our housing complex when I was 33. And it seemed really bad to tell people I was 33 because we had one daughter in second grade and one in kindergarten. And, they were not 33. And so I added 10.
Okay.
And it was like a floater joke. He was just kind of floated.
Right.
He's like, how old are you guys anyway? And I go, it's 43.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, cool. Yeah, man, I'm 45. And I was like, that's great.
You're
Oh,
young. You look young for 43.
Yeah. And then I walk in and I'm like, how long is that going to last? Right. And he's my neighbor. And his daughter babysits our kid. And and I'm like,
man.
wow. So one year, like 5 years later, I'm like mowing the lawn, and he's like, man, I look over and you're just going and going and going and going. And it's like, dude. And I go,
Did you tell him? Did you,
yeah,
you
I
come
told
clean?
him. And he goes, thank God. He was like, I don't know, Kristen and Kurt are our age. Like, oh my God.
Right. How did they
How
do
do they
it?
have so much energy?
Right. Yeah. Did you have hair back then?
Oh, I had all kinds of hair.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
lost it. Yeah.
Done.
2007 or 8.
Yeah, it's right. Same. I get you.
And you shave it off, and you're like, we'll just see. I did it on purpose because we went to the Breeders' Cup in
Oh.
Churchill Towns.
Hey, nice.
And yeah, we did all the
Dog
dress up
shit.
thing, and we
Yeah.
had the sun behind us and took this really pretty picture of the sunset. Except me being in the salon industry stuff, I knew about TG Bedhead and the wax product and things that I used to make my hair look fabulous, and it also made my head look like the sun. Whenever the sun in that happened, that hour of the night hit my head and lit
right.
up my hair.
Just right. Yeah.
So from my head bounce. So it looked like the disc at the Catholic churches in
Sure. Yeah. You
Italy.
could just shine right through
yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
I looked at it and I looked at Kristen and I was like, I think I need to shave my head.
Yeah. Now I had the same photo. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're just like, this
I
isn't
could
fooling anybody.
perfectly see the shape of my head. Wow. Okay. Well, R.I.P. on that. R.I.P. hair.
You should shave yours sometime,
Yeah,
Brian.
Right.
The Filipinos are all doing it. No,
I'll think about it.
You're sorry.
if it's bad. You know what I'm sorry about? I am sorry about one thing. And if the guys out there in the live, pre-recorded, post-recorded listening can't find me land, there was one time where I was in the Cordoba, 76 Cordoba
Chrysler
with the
Cordoba.
Corinthian leather,
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Mhm.
76, 400 big block.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
highway
right.
gears,
Right, right.
crazy.
Yeah, nice.
So anyway, rolling as I would, and these guys started jacking with us in their little Civic, the little tiny one. Remember the little late
yeah.
80s, the little guy?
It's like the Mustang too.
CRX or something.
Yeah,
What was it, like a CR? I don't even remember. That little bitty thing.
That little hatchback
That
thing.
little thing.
Yeah.
And, I had a black cat.
Oh.
I lit it.
Uh-huh.
And I flicked it at their car because I thought it would be funny if it popped on their windshield.
Yeah.
But it didn't because their sunroof was open.
Oh no. Dang.
So it went. Now, I'm sure that it didn't physically harm them because we saw a lot of their faces for a while after that. On certain slower corners,
was this-
jumping Lackman. Have you ever
Hey,
jumped Lackman?
hey, no, you know what?
I did that
Back in the day.
at 72 miles an hour in that
Gosh.
Cordoba. It hit bottom,
Oh,
and
wow.
I perfectly aimed it so I didn't bounce off the bridge into death where
Mm-hmm.
the people had died.
Mm.
And you know that story. So and Marcus Rowe was with me. So if you ever want to call my boy in Nashville, he'll be like, I thought it was good. I have like 3 people who like are like, dude, your driving is masterful.
Gosh.
I'm like baby driver. It's
Oh yeah,
insane.
okay. Right.
I feel like this is the original premise for Dazed and Confused.
It's got to be.
You were just talking about the leather seats and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Also, the roads from Johnson Drive as well.
Yeah.
Headed out
And
towards
Flum
K7.
was okay. Flum, you gotta. It's, it was it's a baby drive.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
Blackman
right.
would scare you if you did it wrong. The wrong
Sure.
land yacht.
I knew some Flums as well in high
Did
school.
ya?
Yeah.
There you go.
And some Zardas.
I got some Zardas. I know Tom really well.
Okay. All right.
But I also know, funny story. I think this is Kansas City Nights, and there should be a Kansas City story.
There you
My
go.
uncle is
Hey.
John Cornish, and he passed away at 43. Crazy lung cancer thing. He was at the Santa Fe also, but in high school, he was buddies with some Negros. And he went to their grandma's house in New York during the Woodstock. And they weren't right by it, but they were plenty near to go. And they were like, it's just like a stupid hippie show. Like a stupid hippie show. Like he's like, because they didn't know until you knew.
Right.
And then when you knew, you couldn't get in. And it was like, but so apparently when they were growing up, my grandparents had had a place, the Ozarks, forever. And they were down there. And you remember the ski belts?
Yeah. Right.
And
Big
so
foam pieces.
one of them,
Yeah.
I don't think it was Bill Nigro, but anyway, because I know them, I know Bill well, but I think it was Bill's brother. But anyway, they were water skiing, and like he came back to pick him up, they hit him in the head with the boat. And
Oh,
he
dang.
went under,
Oh,
and
gosh.
his belt popped up. So you're like in Gravois Arm, which is like 105 feet or something.
right.
Of, nothing. And so my uncle apparently just immediately dove in and came up and then went back down and then pulls him out and, like pulls him out of the water and everything's fine. And then it was really fun as I got older because I played music a lot. So I came to Kansas City in 1990 and I didn't know what to do. I was right out of high school and I'm like, I should get in a band. So Gary Mack. Remember Gary Mack Productions?
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
I found
You know
it
Gary,
in
yeah.
the yellow pages. I'm like,
Hey,
music,
let your finger do the
attorneys,
walk.
music stuff, whatever. I don't know why. Entertainment, I find Gary Mack, and I like call him up. I'm like, hey, Gary, I want to play the bass for some good bands. And he's like, okay, dude from Clearwater. So I go into a meeting with him, and he's like talking, and I'm like talking back, and he's like, well, do you know this? I'm like, yes, do you know this? And he's like, all of a sudden, it was like, if I'm anywhere near as good as I'm talking like I am, then I can surely play. And remember, I'm just a stupid 18-year-old kid, right? And I'm going to Kansas City to Gary Mack and going, hello, I'd like to be in a cover band, right? And so then I get a call one day, and it's like, is this Curt Coolidge? I'm like, yeah. It's like, this is Mark Schumacher. I got a band called The Scene. We need a bass player. I was like, hell yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Got that.
So I got my Alembic, my Stanley Clark signature Alembic, and all fusioned out, playing like some skunk funk, and if you know any Brecker Brothers, and like just being a super stud, and then roll in there with my Ampeg, and he's like, oh, let's just play some blues. So I just whip off into 12-bar blues.
Throwing it all out there.
I'm playing like upright jazz blues. And he's like, whoa. And I go, what? And he goes, I mean, and I was like, okay. So I like play and I'm like, all right. And he had gone to Wichita State and studied with Alan Holsworth, which is an amazing fusion guitar player, but he was a teacher at the time. And anyway, so there I was, 19 years old in the scene, because I turned 19 in September. That's when I totally got in. So I was 18, then bam, there I am. And playing Harrisonville, playing the Coliseum, playing the Clinton freaking country club, carrying those steps. Remember those? Oh my God, we're going to die because we had the 350,000 pound, you're standing on my shoecase. Like, it's so bad. But I was stupid and young and who cared? But then we got into this, that broke up because I went down to Wichita because I wanted to be a string-based performance major at Wichita State University.
So,
I went to
okay.
Friends.
All right.
So,
Wow.
So this actually ends the back because it jumped. Because then I came back to Kansas City and was in Weatherhead with your friend Albert Hall, who graduated in 1985 from Shawnee Mission Northwest. You don't know him; he's very famous, but he also does have a killer pirate band. I don't know if you knew that. Musical Blades, quite famous, quite big. I did a show with them, and they had 19 original songs, and they're like prog pirate music, and it's insane, and it was incredibly difficult.
Let's look that up.
Yeah, but he's an amazing guy. But so we started a band called Weatherhead, and when I came back to Kansas City after one semester at Friends, because that was not working out, so there I was, and then it was Neeners every 5 weeks, and
Then you're
Kobe's
hitting
every
the
5 weeks,
circuit.
and the Oasis in Fall City, Nebraska. And
Oh gosh.
yeah, so we're hitting all the things, and I mean, just getting party.
So what kind of music are you playing at that
We were
point?
really, really super smart. You know what we did? We would play your favorite artist, but not your favorite song from your favorite
That's
artist.
a
More
great
of a song
idea.
that was more interesting from that artist. So we would do Aerosmith, like Eat the Rich.
Yeah.
Because it's all I want.
Hey.
So
Right.
like, why would you do that one? Oh, we would do some Van Halen. We would do Amsterdam.
Wow,
And you're like, and Judgment Day. Those were our two Van Halen songs. And so it was
So which Rick Springfield song did you do?
right.
Right.
Well, we
Not
did the
just
Sammy
his
Hagar
own,
song.
I would. I would
I've done
okay. I've done
everything for you.
So not human touch.
Except Sammy Hagar's version, I thought was kind of lame when he went, I've done everything for you. He like went for you.
Okay.
And then Rick Springfield was, I've done everything for you. And it was the way he changed the back, made it, I don't know why, but it made it a little bit mean.
Yeah.
It made it just
Sure.
a little bit meaner because the California rock was just a little bit nicer. You'd go out riding in my 6.6.
Sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
but it was just like, it was like a little more slow, not as much angst. I think it's farther away you got from
Laid
Judas
back.
Priest.
A little bit laid back.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
So, so I came up, we played in Weatherhead. I quit because I had young kids. Didn't play in any bands, moved to Park City, Utah, moved to Cincinnati, moved all over the world, came
Gosh.
back, and then
Is
came
that
back.
when you were working doing the Muzak with the
No,
Muzak
that's
company?
after Muzak when I got into this, working at a speaker manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
And
All right,
I would
all right.
actually do the speakers that we did at Aeropostale.
Oh, that's right.
And
Okay.
all of that and the Bass Pros and
All
all these
right.
things. And
Yeah.
So I still will go into place. I'll be like, yes, man. So, like I designed like that speaker. I was involved in that. Like it's a weird, funny thing.
Right.
But,
You got to put them in the basement, Brian
Yeah.
Rice, if you want that real sound.
right. But I came back and I was like, I don't want to play bass right now. And I don't know, I want to sing. But then Billy Doors worked at Icon Office Solutions and he said, I really want to put my band back together. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You had a band? And he did. And he played it, Guitars and Cadillacs and all that. And his best friend was Mike Kennedy. Kind of works out if you want country gigs. So we start a band. We hire a keyboard player, we hire a drummer, we hire Don Spain on guitar, whose dad was in the Music Hall of Fame with, crazy stuff. And we just tore it up.
So, at what's the time frame when you were moving around the world, the country, whatever?
99 to 2004.
So you came back to Kansas City for
Yeah.
good in 2004.
Yeah, into 2004. And then I joined, Billy Doors and I got it going in 2005. And we did every single opening act at the Beaumont. And when I mean everyone, I mean like Billy Currington blew up the day of his show. He was on The View the day his show was at the Beaumont. And we were the opening
wow.
act.
Hey.
Right? And
Yeah.
so all of a sudden the fire code was hit and everything's getting crazy. And I'm back there and I'm like, Billy, what kind of shit is it that you don't have vodka? Like, seriously, no vodka on the rider. Like, I have to go buy vodka. Really? really? I'm opening for you. You're not that big, right? Like, I mean, I was kind of a prick, but I was joking, and he was a super nice guy, and we were laughing. I wasn't that big of a jerk, but he said the funniest thing. He's like, I just don't like vodka. I just don't. It doesn't work for me and stuff. And I go, well, the whiskey doesn't work for me because I get mean. He's like, man, that sucks, because I like drinking whiskey. So then we opened for him at the Power and Light. And he calls for us. He's like, I want Billy Doors Band.
Wow. Okay. So
us,
this is a few years later. Power and Light opened it.
Yeah, 2007, 2007,
Okay.
2008.
Oh, 08, 09. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or something. But we were there. We got in a lot of trouble on the day it rained on St. Patrick's Day because the band wasn't going to play. And we're like, we'll play. You guys know 3 hours of songs? We're like, we'll do it. Let 'em go.
Right,
and then
right,
that was
right,
going to, I didn't know at the time, it was going to mess with their insurance. So then, but they got mad, whatever. So, I didn't care. But we were opening for the best of the best. It was Little Big Town and Eric Church and Pat Green. Well, everybody that came through. It was a lot of Blake Shelton had Some Beach, right? We would open for him, then we would do all the stuff over at Crown Center, and it was amazing. So all of a sudden, I'm doing 10,000 seats again.
And that's country, just
I
country
did
music.
Lollapalooza and stuff, and I was the bass player. But what we did was we did basically 45 minutes of high octane. Like we started with the old stuff. Back when the old stuff was new, and we do Ain't Going Down, and we ended with TROUBLE. So I'm playing bass, and I'm singing that third, like I'm doing that guy. And oh my God, it was so much fun. It was ridiculous. And so then I got in like a year after that, because it was weird how it stopped. It just kind of did. It was like the recession and all kinds of stuff around that time.
I remember that time.
But I got into Red Guitar because my old friend from Northwest, Dave Borberg, who was roommates in California with Tim Izzo that I mentioned. So my drummer friend who won the Sabian Award because he's that good of a drummer.
Yeah.
So that guy calls me. He's like, I'm in Red Guitar and we need a bass player. And if you know Red Guitar with Nick Nave and all that. And so we had some songs out like California and these different things. So I'm like, now all of a sudden I'm on this stage again, opening for Sister Hazel every time they come to town. And and it just better than Ezra, which is an insane band on stage. Hey. But I do have the funniest Sister Hazel story, and it's such a mistake. But we used to do this version of Everything She Does Is Magic, where I would play bass and he would play acoustic guitar, no one else would play, and I would sing harmonies with him. But when you have boom, bum, boom, 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 but you don't have the drums, then boom. Right? It's just you got all this air.
So you're just playing everything without the drums.
Completely broken down.
Right.
Just him playing acoustic guitar, and he's such an amazing singer. And he anyway. But Nick, and then we're loading out, and the guitar player, he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, come here." And I walk over, and he's super cool, and he goes, "Look at that. What's that say?" I go, that says your closer's Everything She Does Is Magic. He goes, it sure does, doesn't it? That's what we were going to do, wasn't it? Until our opening band played it.
Right.
I go, I didn't see your set list. He goes, there's no way I thought you guys would freaking do Everything She Does Is Magic. And they were getting ready to do a giant Fleetwood Mac tribute thing. So they knew a bunch of Fleetwood Mac songs. So they ended up doing one of those. And,
good. Okay.
But it was just a funny, happenstance.
Yeah.
And so that pulled me into Casey Groove Therapy because Steve Paddock was in Billy Doors. And so then I was in Casey Groove Therapy for 8 years doing 85 gigs a year and then 52 gigs a year.
Right.
Back up singing, playing bass, drinking way too much. And then,
for Terry Adams Jr., right?
Yeah.
He's been on our show.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I helped in the beginning with Phil Collins' Experience.
Okay.
So I was in the Midland shows and some of the early on. It was a big thing to bring his vision out because he learned to play left-handed. He's really from England. He can actually sing like, hey, he's really a tenor. He's not a baritone faking it. He sings amazing. Brandon Paddock recorded an album. It was a CD. Let's be honest. No, I'm kidding. It's even funnier than that. But we did a song of us doing our covers, and I don't want to be anything, we were just like, let's do it. Let's do some recording time. So it's Brandon Paddock. Do you guys know Steve's son, Brandon?
No.
Well, yeah, he has a platinum album for stuff with Avril Lavigne and all that.
Wow. But
he came into town and was recording for us, right? And I was like trying to sing something, and he was kind of doing the, no, you're not like that. Like, quit. And it was because he's legit. And
Yeah,
at the time, I
right.
had not really polished. I was just a fun backup singer. That's not what was needed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then he said to me, we're standing outside, and he goes, "Man, Terry's good." And I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on.
Right.
So you're complimenting him, but you asked me to step more or less away from Mike. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's, you want it because it's true what he was saying. And there was no
Yeah.
need for what I was thinking I was going to do. But because it wasn't even until I got into Boogie Nights that I really started singing harmonies. Well, I did all through the country, but the country harmonies are kind of the same. You kind of have to pick
Yeah,
the same
sure.
color.
Right.
So you kind of just
Twang. Got
You just
same
go
line.
there. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
So I just wanted you to hear the little bit of, there's a back, because Weatherhead, I used to follow Johnny Rampage around. We'd be at every gig after them, and Shiver
Right.
was with us. And then, so we'd be in our bounce
Is
and
that
stuff.
when he was in Rampage or
Yeah.
Sing Sing?
No,
Okay.
Rampage.
Okay,
Yeah, but-
Rampage.
So, and then I still see him a lot. We do a lot of stuff.
Oh,
We
yeah,
joke
he's
because of
great.
all the AC/DC stuff and things for that. And
Yeah, right. He's in KCDC.
so
of
then
course.
I was in High Voltage because them, before he was in KCDC,
Eddie.
Eddie and they got,
Right.
I don't know what happened, but they were not going to do it together anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Eddie being the original Bon Scott in KCDC.
yeah, Eddie Rams.
Yep.
Right.
And
he
then-
got sick. He had brain cancer or something, didn't he?
He's fine now. If he did.
Okay, good.
No, he had a thing. Yeah, you're right. He had a thing.
Yeah,
I don't
thanks.
remember.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put something on it there.
But then he was no longer in KCDC, but he still wanted to keep playing, so he started a new KCDC called,
High Voltage.
and then you became.
Well, what happened was Jamie Walk,
Yes.
drummer,
Right.
he was the drummer with me in Tropical Dreamers with Candace Hill and,
Oh, wow.
and Glenn Mock.
Gosh.
So Candace was a steel pan player
Yeah.
into town
Uh-huh.
looking for gigs and stuff.
That's
and
great.
She recorded on our CD. I played with her a ton. Then Blake came in to replace Jamie, and that's how I know Blake for co-producing She Takes the Mic, Bliggity Bobbity.
And
But-
Tropical Dreamers.
Yeah.
So were you like for the original yacht rock band around here then?
Yes. So
Sorry
I got
to
a call.
interrupt you.
No, I got a call, and Glenn Mock is an amazing, he's just trop rock guy, and I'm a Buffett head. I'm a
Trop
total
rock,
parrot head
okay.
from growing up.
Yeah.
And I used to ask, like, how do you cut your heel on a Pop-Tart? Because
Yeah.
my brain didn't understand what a Pop-Tart was. Stepped on a Pop-Tart. And I'm like,
Yeah.
was it the metal part? Like, did they used to have different? I mean, I remember sitting there staring at my dad's amazing candle, one of those giant ones, where you're wondering which part of it to light, because wouldn't this burn that part? But then you realize they never light it, but you're eating a Pop-Tart because you're up way too early.
Right.
Bored again.
Man.
Yeah.
Crazy. You're all over the place.
It's
you
fun,
know
isn't
that?
it? I enjoy it. I
You
do it for
do
like
enjoy
a
it.
present moment of fun. But yeah.
For sure. For sure. So, so what kind of songs did you play in what was the name of that band?
Tropical Dreamers.
Yeah, Tropical
We have
Dreamers.
our own solo CD of our originals.
do?
Like,
Okay.
we had a lot. They were fun. They were good times. But the funniest thing that happened was we got called to play for Jimmy Buffett's party at Power and Light. So we got called to play this other party at this other big lake thing, this other big parrot head thing, and then we became like these people who do the thing. So then we decided not to do it anymore. I still don't remember why. It's so funny. It's like me drinking when I used to drink. I never really remember leaving, but I always remember getting there. And it's like, I'm not sure why I left, Ben. Maybe there's something there. But anyway, whatever. Maybe we'll dig into that with a therapist. But it's so funny because we got a call, but we didn't get a call. Glenn gets a call. So we all get a text, right? And it's me and Glenn and Candace and Blake. And this text says, "Hey guys, are we still a band?" And so I go back with, I think, like a question mark, like, sure. I don't know. You gotta, you're having a moment. Do you need a compliment or something? Like, I don't know what to say. Sure. I can be in your band. I don't know what you're asking. And Blake's like, okay. And he goes, well, the people called and they want us to do the Buffett thing again. And so I just told him we're a band. And I go, good. So you told him? And he goes, yeah. And I go, when is it? And he's like, it's like in 3 weeks. And I was like, sweet. Send us that list.
That's it. We're
So
done.
we all
Yeah.
just learned it. We met one time and really just hung out. And then we just went and played. We didn't ever practice. And so I loved it because I got to be on the big system and sing Faith. When I guess it would be nice. I loved it. It was so fun.
Oh, that
it was
Faith.
so fun. Yeah. And so, yeah, I did all that with him. And that was a blast. And then High Voltage was insane because we found this guy named Steve. We had this original guy who was insane from, I don't even want to remember. He was from outside of the country and he got deported. And so we had to stop the band for a while. And so we find this guitar player, Steve. And Steve shows up with like an Angus guitar and like amps. And he's like, all right, man. Okay, cool. And shreds it. Like, I mean, just plays it like it, not like it goes. There's a difference between being it and playing it, right? And he was just doing it. And I was like, oh my God, like this is incredible. And then he was a big tribute guy and he had a kit car and he had a Smokey and the Bandit signature, like an actual Smokey and the Bandit car and all this stuff. And so he loved that stuff. And he would dress up for Halloween. He loved it, like Big Lebowski and things. And so it was really cool for him to want to do it. So he ordered the schoolboy stuff from like Japan and things.
Yeah.
And but what was crazy was Eddie called me because Jamie and I did a thing called Hair Force. So Dan Jeaton and I go way back, way farther back, like way all the way back. And so I think there were 9 lead singers. Johnny Rampage was doing Bon Scott. God, we had everybody. We had everybody. And I was doing Rob Halford, Sammy Hagar, and David Lee Roth. And Jamie was doing Zeppelin. And I don't want to go into missing names and do it all. But the whole thing, the point is that it was insane. And Eddie played drums. You know Eddie, Blonde Eddie, right? Yeah,
Eddie Williams. Eddie Williams.
Yeah.
I was going to say Williams, but he hurt himself on a motorcycle, and I love that man. And there's a funny picture that Kristen took of me and him, and I got my hand like touching his waist, and he has his hand on my shoulder, and we're at Purple Jam. And Tyson's behind us, and like we're watching him, and we had just walked up, and I was like, "Hey, dude," and he's like, "Hey, man," but she caught it right when we pat each other, so it just looks like we're standing there watching. It's hilarious. But that dude played 4 hours straight without peeing. It was amazing, unreal. We played those songs just. Boom! We had the guys from Villains Dance that were running. We were running tracks, and
We just interviewed them last weekend.
dude, Jay's insane, and those guys. I love those guys, and they were. It was just stupid. We did the most ridiculous, and so then John Roy is like not going
John
to
Roy
do it
Henderson.
for this thing we were going to do in Omaha. So Dan's like, dude, you got to do this. I should do it. Man, I was out there and this is crazy, but dude, you need to do the AC/DC stuff, man.
It's
You should
Dan.
do it, bro.
Dan Tejan?
Yeah.
You said Jeaton? I always said Tejan for some reason.
Well, man, I don't even know. Maybe it's teaching. Dan, text me.
Dan
bro.
DCC DeVille
Make
of
it up.
Poison
Well, we had a
Overdose.
friend named Aaron Jaden with a T in the front of it, and that's why
Yeah, it is.
we named our
There is
daughter
something.
Jaden. So maybe it's Jaden.
There's a lot. There's a lot of consonants there.
But yeah, but he was like, "You got to do it, man. We got the video, and I don't want to change the tracks. And just do it, man. Come on, you can. I've seen you do it." And I was like, "Let me just try." I don't know if y'all have ever tried to sing Thunderstruck.
No.
The second verse of that requires a new attainment.
Yeah.
It's like a cheat
Yeah.
unlocked. Like, because you have to figure out how to do it. Because those girls from Texas, it's like, what? And he's gone. And I have this thing that's like, I want to sing that in the original key, like he did it when he was in Back in Black, and not poke fun at it and do it. And if I can't do it, then I don't want to do it. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I love the songs and I love them being done. I just could not believe the energy that guy had in 1983 and what he was doing to prove to the world that he was the guy.
Yeah.
And they were not
Right.
the number one band in the world when Bon Scott died. They were not. They were just another band the guy was gonna die, and they had a couple albums. and
Right.
songs were
Sure.
okay. I mean, they were great. Like Girls Got Rhythm is one of my all-time favorite AC/DC songs. I mean, just oh my god. but anyway, Eddie called and said, I want a Brian Johnson. And I was like, well, because the Dan thing forced me to do that shit, which was great because I did. And it was insane to have to learn how to do it. But I told Eddie, I was like, you got to give me like 6 months or 8 months because I got to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Because I got to unlock this thing because I cannot cook myself to do this. So I had to train myself. And by train myself, I just mean if you can make a noise, you can control it, then you're singing. Doesn't matter if it's a whistle, right? You know, it's just sort of a noise. So and I'm not saying I'm not singing it. I had to learn how to make my body do it. And then Steve just went off the rails. He was so good and so crazy. And so,
Dearly departed Steve
yes,
Shiner.
he passed away. And it was crazy because he passed away. And that week I had a meeting on St. Patty's Day that week with Frank to book our first high voltage show. And he had said we were booking it and I told him Sunday because we were booking a deal in Philly and it was getting booked at this bar and we'd already done it.
That would have been
Seats
his
up to 5,000
that would have
50th
been-
birthday party.
Yep. With his family in
We were
Philadelphia.
booking that, so we were talking about that every day. And I said, dude, I got Knuckleheads finally, they want to go. They've heard enough from people. And so I'm going to meet Frank. And so I need to know the dates we're doing that show. And he died. So I went to the show. Funniest thing, I go to the park that day because I decided I wasn't going to work any longer. And I just went to the park with my dogs and my wife and my daughter. And this little white dog comes up to me by the lake. And I'm like, hey, dude. And he was just this little kind of Jack Russell-y looking dog. And I was petting it. And a lot of dogs kind of like me because I'm just kind of chill that way. But this one was like liking me. So I'm petting it. And I'm like, he's like, because that's what Jack Russells do.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, I'm sorry, man. He's bugging everybody. He's like, Steve, come on. And I go, what's his name? He goes, that's Steve. I go, that's awesome. And that was Monday. Like that was the day that he died. Right? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It's the forgetting the thing. I just let it go. I don't want to try to be the guy that has to remember the date.
Yeah.
But so then that week I went to meet with Frank and I sat down with Frank and I said, it was on St. Patty's Day. He's like, that's the best time to talk to me because nobody's here yet. Because they're off getting hammered somewhere else so they forget how much, that you're going to drink here. And so we're sitting there talking and I said, I wanted to do it, but Steve passed away. And he's like, didn't he have a son? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I'd probably cry saying this, but he's like, then we're doing a tribute. He's like, pick a Saturday. And I was like, what? He goes,
Shiner Fest, yeah.
he was going to play here.
Yeah.
No, but that was Frank.
Yeah.
He said he was
That's
going to play
Frank.
here.
Right.
I mean, shit, I'm great. But so, and then it tripped me out because they picked up the little statue from the drums afterwards, and he was actually there. Those were his ashes. That was a little trippy. I didn't know that till the end. But
You're
I
getting emotional.
I did win a lot
okay.
of awards that night because there was a lot of bets on me not pulling it off between 8 and 11 and getting 30-some people on and off that stage and changing out all the musicians.
hey,
And we started right at 8 a.m. and we got Frank in the back and Chris in the front. And we stopped right when it hit 11. And the way we hit the end was hilarious. Brandon Miller had a gig that night. And the deal was, if he made it and we were still on the stage, then he had to come up and play Girls Got Rhythm. Or, wasn't it? No. I said Girls Got Rhythm. He had to play What Do You Do for Money? And because that song is insane. They told me, they're like, hey, do you want to add a couple more from Back in Black? We want to do Giving the Dog a Bone and What Do You Do for Money? And I was like, sure. I can sing any of them now. I've figured out what he's doing. And I mean, it's not easy, but I'm aware and I know the words. I know the song, so I just got to get it. Oh my Lord. Those songs are higher than the other songs. And I don't know if you ever knew that, but What Do You Do for Money is like so high. And it's like, wow. And I'm like, oh Lord. Right. And I could do it, but so Brandon was betting and I was betting, and so there's some video out there from Bruce of Brandon walking on stage literally as we finish that song. He just walks on and looks at me and he's like, he just hits it. Yeah,
wow.
It was insane. So
That'd be something to see him
Yeah.
soloing AC/DC.
it was good. It was good.
Kind of circling back, Steve's son Colin did get up and play on
Yes, he
stage
did.
that
He
show.
played, and we learned one of his favorite songs was
Money for Nothing?
yeah, and so his friend that was going to do the thing in Philly was playing drums and stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. It was insane. It was so good. And then, but it's cool to that's part of why when people talk about these different things, I started to find singing again because singing was what I'd always done. Because you can't play bass by yourself.
Right.
You
Yeah.
just can't. It gets super boring.
It does get boring.
It
Yeah,
does get
yeah,
super
yeah.
boring. It's a certain line.
Guard
But I
that
tell you
goal.
what, the way that I did it, for any of those young kids out there that want to try it without YouTube, is I'd put the album on and I'd crank it up and I'd push the loudness button and I'd fill the bathtub with water. And I'd drop the needle and I'd go run in and jump in the bathtub and it would strip all the highs out. So you boom, 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 boom. So you could hear
Yeah.
the bass line with your head underwater.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right.
It's like-
Yeah.
I'm trying to visualize that.
Okay.
It's a lot of running when no one's at home.
Magic of
A line
water.
of towels.
So, circling back to Knuckleheads, it's going to tie into the other thing. You are putting on a show, as a matter of
Yes.
fact,
Oh, right.
6 days from now
Yes.
at Knuckleheads,
Yes.
called She Takes the Mic.
Yes.
So,
That's very exciting.
yeah, so let's tell us about this. We know what it is, but tell the audience what it is.
Yes. So I'll give you the actual whole thing. So Blake Swetnam, the drummer, who was the drummer in Tropical Dreamers, opened Floating KC and now owns Float Spa Kansas right here and off 119th and Quivira. And so we've stayed in touch with that, and I float and stuff and go in. And so we've stayed in contact over a lot of things. And he's always like, dude, I want to be in a band. We should get in a band again. Because his kids went through that part that my kids went through. And now he's like, dude, I mentioned we should be in a band. My kids don't want to play, and we should be in a band. I can play guitar if you want to. And he kept going and going. And I was like, dude, I don't want to be in a band. And he's like, why? And I was like, it's not about being in the band that I don't want. It's the commitment to time. I don't want to be a handicap golfer either. Not because I don't love golf, but because I can't dedicate that time to that right now. And so I was like, I love playing and I want to do things. I was like, I would do an event. And he's like, I'll do an event. I was like, you'll do an event. Because he started companies and does these things. So there's certain things that he's amazing at, and he knows all these different people and all these music things. And so he helped a lot. He was involved a ton with Amanda Hewley about 10 years
Just
ago.
saw her a couple Sundays ago.
So Amanda was in a band when she was doing her first stuff. Blake was helping her with that. And then I played in a band with Amanda at the Stagecoach Inn to help her promote some stuff that she was doing back then. And so I said to Blake, I don't remember all of her ideas, but basically we didn't want to be anything in particular. We wanted to have an event, right? And so I was like, Rare Hair in Nashville, which Tyson Leslie does.
Yeah.
And I've done that 3 times.
Who's Tyson Leslie?
Right? Tyson.
They just they're
Leslie.
doing their cruise. They're on a rare hair cruise.
Right.
They just today they left for it.
So I was in 3 of those. And so I played bass and sang in 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was epic. And what was so amazing was you would show up and rehearsal, you would go in, and he had it all charted out what time it was. And you had 5 minutes between bands to change. And you had to use their amps and drums.
Mm-hmm.
And, you'd walk in and do it. And he sat in the other room. And you sat in this room, and then they would listen to it, do all that. And you had 2 run-throughs of the song. And that was it. So, what was I doing? Oh, yeah. I was playing Green Tinted 60s Mind, right, on bass. And one of the guys from Hairball was singing it. And he is amazing. Dude, it was insane. And the drummer was from Kelly Clarkson or something. It was stupid. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? These musicians are like this and they're this good and all of that. But it was the way that you went in on Sunday, because the show's on Monday, and it's on Monday because all the musicians are available. Otherwise you can't do it.
Because they're working the rest of the week.
Yes. And so Sunday was a rehearsal. And what it was from X to Y. And Curtis Anderson's there with me and Go-Go's there and stuff. And so we're all there. And we've got these slots. And so I was at 10:15, I walk in with my bass and I'm all tuned up and ready. And I don't even touch it. I'm like, donk. I'm like, sounds good. You know what I mean? And then we go, because I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I even learned how to
Yeah,
sing
you're all
it,
professionals
even in
here.
case the singer couldn't be there. I'm
Right.
like, well, that ain't why we're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was just like, holy crap, that was amazing, right? And they're like, okay, let's do it one more time. But, you know, I kind of, on the guitar, when you're doing this, I don't like the way you're dragging your finger, you know, or whatever. And so then we do it again. And it was like even more insane. And then we just walk out of the room, and it's been exactly 8 minutes, like, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that was crazy. Because now I'm getting ready for my vocal thing that I'm doing in a little bit, you know. And so I'd go in and do that. And it was awesome. He let me sing and play. The craziest one I ever did was well, let me go back to this She Takes the Mic thing, because it'll bring this in. So what they started doing was, the Rare Hair is a mixture of the people from the 80s who are now living in Nashville, right? Oh, I sung the Kiss song, Bring On the Night. It was from the Keyboard album, because the keyboard player from Kiss is in Nashville. I think he's passed away now, but he had a bunch of Grammys for producing. So he was playing keys on the song that I was singing.
Wow.
And, oh my God, why am I blanking his name? Oh, he was holding the beer. He's Bruce Springsteen right now. Our friend.
John?
Yeah.
John Michaels?
Yeah,
John
sorry,
Michaels.
God, I was
John
wanting to say
Michaels.
Michaels, and I
Yeah,
didn't want.
yeah, yeah.
So John Michaels was there playing rhythm guitar in that band, in that song.
Okay.
And what was it? John Bon Jovi's son was playing lead guitar or something.
Yeah,
And so
nice.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't suck. And Chuck Garrick is there playing bass, and Chuck Garrick is from not on this song, but he's from Alice Cooper's band. I have never heard a quarter note played more perfectly in my entire life than watching him play quarter notes on that Fender Precision with his sheepskin, open, no shirt, you know, a vest with jeans from the 60s
Own
with
that
bell
shit.
bottoms covering
Right.
up his leather shoes and a leather belt that you know he took off of a dead person. Like, I walked up to him later. I was like, how you doing? He's like, good, man. What's up? And I go, that's it. That is the sound of a quarter note. That in my head, it's just, you're the reference quarter note. And he's like, thanks, bro. He's like, I appreciate it. You know, and it was just kind of that's sort of what that's about. That's what that whole thing is about. And one of the times I went in and I played, we did one called Under the Covers. And the reason I'm saying this is because it was themed. They're always themed.
Yeah.
So this one was any cover song sung by an 80s rock band, right? So it gives you a whole bunch of songs to pick
Radar
from.
Love by White Lion.
But yes, that was one of the songs we did.
Hey, okay.
We also did Little Susie by Tesla, because
Oh.
most people didn't know that it was a cover song.
You know what?
Which
I
was
did
random.
not
I did
know
not either.
that.
I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
And so I sang Little Caesar's Chain of Fools.
Chain, 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 chain of fools.
And so in order to make sure that I didn't fall and land with a giant splat, there were 4 backup singers that came to the rehearsal. And I'm like, ladies, I know who you guys are, right? And everybody else was trying to be the lead singer and be cool. And I said, why don't you guys start it? And they're like, what? And I go, do a bass slide in, and then you guys just start going, hoo, hoo, chain, 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 and just riff. And just when you get bored, look at me, and then they'll kick it in and we'll start. And so I gave them the reins, and oh my God, that was a good idea, because that place lit on fire, right?
Yeah.
Because they're so good.
Yeah,
And so
right.
then I was just a
Yeah.
guy, a monkey on the stage with the words coming out. It was fine, right? And it was fine. But then I played bass on a Cinderella's version of "Move Over" by Janis Joplin. This is up in
okay.
the key of E, which was fun. But Billy Sheehan was there.
Ah, Billy Sheehan.
And so I'm standing backstage, and this is like one of my favorite bass players of all time.
Yeah.
And he's got like a line of people waiting to talk to him and stuff. So I'm like, I'm up here in a second, so I'll get my bass out and kind of tuning it up. And then I'm like zipping my bag up, and I look to my right, and literally Billy is standing there, because he was like, that's sort of where it ended up. And right then the other person turned away, and he looked at me, and I was like, hey, Billy. He's like, hey, man. I was like, I'm Curt. He goes, I'm Billy. I go, man, I didn't know what I would say to you when I saw you, but I'll say this. I read that damn Guitar Player. Remember the first edition of Bass Player magazine?
Hey.
Till it was gone. And I go, and I memorized your signal path. I go, where the hell did you get those preamps? He's like, dude, oh my God. He's like, yeah, I have to still get them from this guy. And we still build them and we still try to put them together. And Tyson knows him. He played bass on Tyson's songs and stuff. So I was chatting with him. He's like, look, man, he goes, I'm not going to be able to watch you play bass because somebody's going to jump and try to tell me about their mom or somebody that they know. And I got to talk to somebody, but you wouldn't be here if you sucked. So kick ass, man. And I realized the reason I was going there was because I wanted to prove to the me that was 19 that I could hang. And when I was in the Billy Doors band and would go to Nashville, I would all of a sudden get invited back in the back, you know, whenever they're rolling out. One night I was there and Jack Ingram's slide pedals player saw me at Tin Roof and BMI's right there. And they're rolling out Brad Paisley's tour with Kelly Pickler. And so he's like, what are you doing over here? The party's over here. I didn't know, because I'm in the middle of the country, that there is a party on the one side of Tin Roof whenever the tour rolls out, because the bus rolls at 3 a.m. So you party till the bar closes, a private party, then you get on the bus and sleep because there's not a show the next day. The next day is a dead day. So all of the people would...
No worries.
Sorry, not my thing.
No,
so all the people would come. So
Kurt has not had a drink tonight.
I haven't.
That's crazy. I can't imagine you.
I know.
Oh my God.
I was like God's rodeo clown. I would do anything for 8 seconds. It's insane.
You do anything for 8 seconds. I totally. Yeah.
So so there I was, you know, at this, they walked me over and there's Stacy, right, from Little Big Town, and Blake Shelton and all the guys from Jack Ingram and all the backup players from these other backup bands. And they're
Drinking water.
They're like, Coolidge, what are you doing here? Because all of these are the bands that would go to the Beaumont because Mike Kennedy owned the reporting stations. So anytime the touring bands would go on a break, their supporting act would go through the Beaumont.
Okay.
So that's why we opened for everybody at the Beaumont, because Mike Kennedy and Billy. So that's how I knew Bill Nigro, which was funny because one time a Nashville band guy came in and all of a sudden the band was a little too good. And they're like, yeah, we bumped you guys. And I'm like, you what? Like, we're ready for a sound check. And they're like, no. You're the Billy guys? No, we brought another band from Nashville. We bumped you guys. So I walk back in the back and Bill's there and he's like, how you doing, man? He's like, I'm so glad to see you at the show. And this is the brother of the guy at the lake, right? And I'm like, hey, yeah, no, they're bumping us. He's like, they're what? Is that what the guy said? They're bumping us. He's like, no, they didn't. What'd they say? And I said, well, it's kind of pissing us off because we got a bunch of people here, but they said they brought a band from Nashville and they're bumping Billy Doors. He goes, oh, did they? Okay. And he walks out there straight to the soundboard. And I'm like starting to walk out. And then the sound guy comes running to me. And he goes, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. You guys can get on right now and do your sound check. We will wait. It doesn't matter. I've already talked to everybody. I'm sorry. And he's like, everybody off the stage. And then he came up to me later and I walked by Bill. He goes, you guys are opening, aren't you? And I was like, yes, we are. Thank you, sir. And he's like, my bar, my rules.
Hey.
And then, it was like, it was just these little moments, you know, these little serendipitous moments, which I always say when people are like, how do you meet famous people? How do you do this or what? And it's like, just be transparent and be where they are. Because if you go do the thing that you love to do, you will run into people doing the thing that they love to do. And then you will meet your people, right?
Right.
But if you go looking for people, you never find them because they're not your people. You're trying to be their people. Right. And you know it subconsciously and it's a random kind of thing. So that back into the She Takes the Mic, which I know it seems like a detour, but it's not, because I thought of this idea. I said, you know, I don't have anywhere to go to see girl singers. And my daughter Jaden's like, I like when we go to other cities and we go see bands, you know, and we would go see Mad Honey when we could, or, you know,
Tin Roof Band,
and like
right?
Flat Susan and stuff. There's amazing bands in town, and Jessica Page is one of my dear friends, and these, you know, all these people. And I mean, there's so many amazing singers and so many amazing women singers, and all the stuff that I've done with all these people. And I was like, there's nowhere. Like, I can try to go catch one of their gigs, but they can't play every weekend because the scene doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
And you can't, you know, so it just was getting hard to find them. And so I said to Blake, I said, okay, let's do a She Takes she takes, we called it something else. And then Amanda was like, oh, you mean she takes the mic? We're like, so that's way better.
That's Amanda Huey that gave that
Yes.
name.
Because
Okay.
what we did was I was talking to Blake and I said, I want it to be only women singers and I wanted to go. But I want it to be amazing because I want them to have fun. Because when I sung the AC/DC songs, what happened was it had nothing to do with me singing the AC/DC song like I'm Curt singing the AC/DC song. It was this band is playing Hell's Bells exactly like it goes on a really loud sound system at, bike night at Worth's. And when that's happening, you are in your basement with your 10-year-old stepbrothers. And that music is cranking. I remember the first time I heard Van Halen 1, my stepbrother grabbed me, drug me downstairs. Don't move, listen to this. Slams me on the floor, puts the 50-watt speakers on either side, because those are the big dogs, and cranks it up. And he's standing over me during the entire thing of Eruption, wiggling his fingers, going, this is insane. So
right.
it's like, these are
Right.
the shaping moments, right? So I want that. That's all I want.
And
I
they're
want
all
a
singing-
present moment. So
They're not singing their own songs, though.
no, these are cover songs.
Okay.
These are their favorite songs. So we said, well, it's I can't go
You got
and
a
say
great
it's their
backup
favorite
band for
songs.
that.
Yeah, our backup band is Nick Marshall playing guitars and singing some, and Seth Rannigan, Kelsey Cook on drums, Paul Greenlee's playing bass.
Gosh.
Lauren with Casey LD.
Casey LD, yeah,
So
Casey-
there,
Lauren, yeah.
Lauren's playing. She's playing a lot of. I think she's playing 11 songs on bass. She was kicking ass last night. We had the rehearsal last night, and she got up, and I'm like, oh my god, because she has it. You know, and I was telling her, like, don't wait, don't think you have to learn anything. I was like, just because some people just, it's there because you're presently with it, right? You're in it. And so I told Blake, I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, hey, it'd be like a house party. We'll call it house party pop night, house party, whatever. And because we wanted it to be like a house party where all your friends come over. Yeah. But the guys that own the house have the really cool band and people keep getting up and doing stuff. So that's what we wanted. So then we're like, okay, well, she takes the mic. Well, maybe we should just do an event somewhere. And so we're like, oh shit, call Amanda Huey. Call Amanda Huey.
Hey,
So we called. So he texted her right then, and we're like, we need your help. And she's like, okay. So she came over and she's like, what's going on? And we're like, we want you to pick women that would do like this thing, and not like like Love. We're doing Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne.
Okay, nice.
We're doing What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Great, yeah.
Right? These songs are like, the people will be singing along at the top of their lungs
Sure.
to Criminal, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
these,
yeah.
like, it's insane.
Is this going to be in the garage or in
No,
the
it's in
saloon?
the saloon.
That's
This
fine.
time
That's
for
great.
sure.
That's great.
And I know because Larry Miller called and he's like, hey, there's a thing going on in the garage and they're not going to move you to it. So it's kind of saved us on not having the video because we were preparing video also.
Oh,
which that kind
okay.
of saved us some pain.
Yeah, sure.
But it's fine.
Yeah,
We're still doing
yeah.
it. So what we're doing
Good.
is we're basically saying, we're going to pay everybody to go and be in the band and play and do their things and do this like a real deal. We're going to charge a cover, like ticket prices, and we're going to do this. And Frank is like, what's going to happen if it isn't successful? And I go, well, looks like I'm going to write a check and we're going to do it again.
Yeah,
But I go, and we're going to do it again. He goes, perfect, just like the Pennyman. He goes, I got all my money on the Pennyman. And he high fives me and he goes, we're doing this forever, Kurt. And I was like, yes, because he loves it too. He's
God
like,
bless
'cause he
him.
loves Daniel
Yeah.
Nicole, right? And so I'm really, me and Brandon Miller took our motorcycle trip last year.
Oh, you're a
2,000
bike
miles in
rider.
5
Oh,
days.
fuck. Okay.
Yeah, we went
God,
to.
I can't imagine you on a motorcycle.
yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, so
bro.
we were having a good time. We went through the rain. It was insane.
Do you know Kurt Caldwell, by the way?
Oh,
He's
God,
a
yes, of
bike
course I know
rider.
Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah, so Kurt's got to help. Kurt, if you're out there, you got to help Brandon with his fake brake light on his Indian.
Oh, yeah, he needs it.
He was a guest on this podcast.
interviewed him. Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
most authentic man that I know in my life.
He's the David Bowie of Kansas
He
City.
is the most authentic, true, like he is exactly what he is. And it's like a picture, a framed picture you hang in your house. It's like, don't change, man.
No,
This is
no.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
she takes the mic. Is we're
When
recording
is this?
this on March. So we're recording this on March 4th, And She Takes the Mic is on March 10th,
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
7
Well, yeah,
p.m.
that's
to 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Doors at 6
Mm-hmm.
because we want people to come and still go home afterwards, and have a good night.
Yeah.
Have a great Tuesday. Like, that's a great Tuesday.
That's great Tuesday.
I'm going to do this.
Hang
guys.
on a
I'm not going to mess this up. I'm going
Dang
to
it,
say
so-
the names. Can I say the names?
Yes,
of
go for it.
everyone in it? But I really don't want them to do this wrong. So I'm going to.
Yeah, do that. So Brian Rice, while he's looking that up, hey, can we do interviews backstage?
Oh, at the show? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a
I've got to think it's going to be tough.
I'm on a board of directors now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was on a board of
So-
directors for BOMA, the Building Owners and Managers Association, because
okay.
they wanted somebody young, and
Nice.
I brought sound systems every time.
They, you know what? Put them in the put them in the basement.
So you
the-
have a-
the
is that a-
base,
is
the
that
low
a-
end.
is that a
That's
Zoom
the
meeting?
fuse. It's at 5:00 though.
Is that a Zoom meeting or you have
the
to
Zoom?
Okay.
Yeah, we got time.
I mean,
There's plenty of time for that. Because if it hits the fan, I turn the fan off. We're good. I got you.
Okay.
So check this out. We got Jenna English.
Okay, yeah.
She's coming.
So these are the singers.
These are the singers. Amanda Hewley's going to be singing.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie Ogden, Chloe Rose, Deanne Kinch, Erica McKenzie, Nikki White. Flat Susan is going to do some Flat Susan
Great.
songs, and then we're going to blend all of them together into a bunch of songs with Casey LD on 11 of them, and Kelsey Cook on all of them, Paul Greenlease on the rest of them, and Nick Marshall and Seth playing
That's-
guitar on the others. And I'm
that's
the MC.
perfect.
I don't do anything. Blake's
Oh.
gonna do some auxiliary percussion because there's some tambourines that's just got to be there. And we don't want to put the tambourines on the tracks. And Nick Marshall's like, dude, we don't need tracks on anything. And I'm like, I understand. I really do. Because I'm not a tracks guy in that way. I got into tracks in Casey Groove Therapy because after we did that big tracks thing, and when we did that, it was like, you look, the train's going. It starts here and it ends here. Not because you can't keep tempo, because the lights turn on here, wiggle here, and turn off here.
Yeah.
That's why there's a click track. So then once you have the click track, because it's a time sync. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so then now you got your time sync. So then you're like, well, now we can tie our logo in. Now we can tie video in. Now we can tie tracks in, I guess. I mean,
Right.
there's no keyboard player, or we can't have this kind of keyboard, or this keyboard player's going to play, like Elton John had 2 keyboard players, right? Like, I mean, he had a guy playing keyboards while he was playing piano. And I
Elton
know
Dan
he
has 2
but there's-
feet,
it's a thing, and it's like you can only
okay.
do what you can do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
right now we're doing as much as we can do, and we want to expand it to just be nothing but analog crazy awesomeness. But
No judgment, man. No
so we want to
judgment
do
on
like
that. That's
so
okay.
we'll do like She Takes the Mic as it's a concert series. So
Yeah.
the idea is that this will be another one, just like the Rare Hair concept of like what about like a She Takes the Mic boy bands. I keep saying that because it's so ridiculous. But what if only girls sang only
Yeah.
boy band
Right,
songs?
right.
It'd just be kind of interesting, and we could do girl band songs.
You
at the same time.
could. You
Do
could
some
start
little mix.
TLC. What was
love
the
Little
band
Mix.
Beyonce
Go.
was in?
I learned how to do that hip snap pop from
Oh,
the
hey.
Little Mix video.
But you know that,
taught her, so
and
I
didn't Jennifer Coolidge do the bend and
Bend and snap.
snap? So there you go.
and
See,
snap.
one of your relatives
One of my relatives.
as well.
Right.
You know, I think we're going to just pass the House of Representatives and make you the president of Kansas City rock and roll here. Okay. How about that? It just makes sense.
Well, the name's there. My
The
uncle
name
was
is
Calvin,
there.
Yeah.
That's
so-
it. Wait a minute. One more thing. You're related to there's a comedian.
Calvin Coolidge. He just
Named
passed
Cal-
away.
Calvin
just,
Coolidge.
I think
Okay.
last year, and
Oh,
he
gosh,
was,
okay.
Comedian Hall of Fame and all that. He actually had a standing gig at Steak and Ale and all of that, and all the people know him from forever. One of his other things I know about him that's kind of famous around town is when he was in his teens, he got to know a guy named Bud Ross, and Bud Ross invented custom amplifiers. And Conway Twitty was a rock player back then,
love Conway
and so Conway
Twitty.
Twitty comes to Olathe to play at one of the big
gosh.
farm burned down playing the country music. And so they meet Bud, and Bud's got this idea of doing solid state amplifiers, and Calvin's always got an idea to try to do something crazy. Well, Bud Ross's dad had a upholstery shop, and so he's like, you can use the scraps. So he could tuck and roll because he had grew up doing upholstery. So they tuck and roll these amplifiers, throw them in the back of the station wagon, drive to Memphis for a big Conway Twitty show, and the guitar player is going to play it and just cooks it. just cooks the amp because it's a solid state amp. And solid state amps at the time, this is a first solid state amp, could not handle the overtone series from the guitars, and it just cooked it. It like literally cooked
Yeah.
it. But the bass sounded fantastic because the bass with solid state was all of a sudden it wasn't as loud to be punchy. It had enough low. It worked with the drums. Things were quieter back in the day, so they just started making bass amplifiers, and then they started doing the PAs and blah blah.
Obvious. I'm
Sorry.
So because
We'll be here all
Conway
night.
Twitty, yeah, we would be here all night. I believe
we're
that,
closing in
man.
on 2 hours.
What? You're
Yep.
kidding me.
You'll just have to edit it
Oh
down.
my god.
No, it's going out.
Yeah,
As
no.
a-
It's got to go out March 10th, right?
March 10th, so that's 6
10th.
days.
Knuckleheads
Well, depending
Saloon.
on when hopefully I get this turned around in the next day or two.
Yeah.
I got some
I
things
don't-
I need to
don't
take care of, but
really understand. I
No,
told Brian, I said, I love. She takes the mic. It's like, it'll make money to pay for itself. It'll do its thing. There will be money around it because it will be successful because it's a stage for women to get to go.
And there are
sing.
so many talented
go.
females
Yeah,
in
and it's just a
Kansas
place.
City.
Once a
My
month, once a
gosh.
quarter, twice a year, just
Bro.
whatever it makes sense, whatever works, whatever theme. It'll always be themed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
she
keep it
takes the mic
yeah,
under
yeah,
the covers,
yeah,
and it's
that's
like
it.
whatever.
That's,
or
it's
whatever.
great.
Just
It's beautiful,
shout
man.
out
I'll
to
be there.
Tyson. I'll have to send him some cash.
Shout
every once
out
in a
to
while.
Tyson. Will you be at Purple Jam 8, which will be the
Yes.
10, 10
year?
whatever it is. The
I got to. I got to shoot him a text on that.
You better.
Get on there.
I think you got the
I
inside
got
track
on there
on
and
that.
sung. Yeah. Anyway, I will. Sorry, Brian.
Curt Coolidge.
Hey, he's president of the Kansas
We
City
could be here for
Music
another 3 or 4 hours.
Sorry, everyone. Everybody knows me knows. Sorry.
Scene. You are.
I mean,
Thanks, man.
I know
Thanks for
you
your
now.
sharing.
I know you now, bro.
Good
Thank
to see
you.
you, Brian.
thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much. Curt Coolidge, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Kansas City Nights, dog.
Woo.